Welcome to Chapter 9 of Book 2 of the Westgate Irregulars. I am Eric Scott to be the DM of this campaign. Very tall dude. I have a book coming out, holy crap, next week.
Wow.
It's called Scourge of the Broken World. It is book 4 of my World of Ruin series. I should really post a link or something on my website. Anyway, while I take care of that, Stefan Marmion, our guest player, this is his last session that he's going to be guesting with us, and he's going to tell us about his character. Take it away, Stefan.
Hey, everyone. If you've been watching before, you've seen Adrian has recently returned to Westgate. He's in the middle of a sort of destiny quest, but he has been away for years, and he has returned to Westgate to check in with his friends and see how his adopted daughter Mirabelle and his life partner Stong are doing. Showed up and shenanigans immediately went down. He got stabbed a lot. Found out people came there specifically to stab him, which was fun. And we figured that out from there.
Go ahead, Erin.
Okay. Hi, I'm Erin M. Evans. I'm the author of the Brimstone Angels saga, and I play Tsetseliya, who is definitely not a warlock. I'm going to tell you about our sponsor real quick. Untitled Champions of the Forgotten Realms is a strategy game that unites iconic characters from novels, campaigns, and popular shows into one epic adventure, which includes Frida and Havilar from the Brimstone Angels saga.
Woo!
The game is available for PC and Mac on Steam and Web, Xbox One, PlayStation 4, Nintendo Switch, iPad, iPhone, and on all Android devices. If you type in the command at the bottom of the screen into the chat, it will give you an Electrum chest code, so you can get your own gems, your cool shiny gear. Let us know if you get anything fun. If you don't know what I'm talking about, you can check them out at idlechampions.com for more information.
I'm Rhiannon.
Sorry.
I'm Rhiannon Held. I write urban fantasy as Rhiannon Held and space opera as RZ Held. And I play Artemisia, half-elf sorcerer who really likes lightning.
Really does. Oh, and I'm Stephan Molino. I'm a teacher and a fantasy writer, and I play Stirge, arcane trickster, diviner, and otherwise just dark miscreant.
Hi, I'm Yang Wang. I'm a writer and a filmmaker, and I play Stong MacGuck, a half-orc bard.
And I'm Randy Henderson. I'm an author, and I play Rogar Battlebairn, a dwarf cleric who's struggling with his faith right now. So.
Excellent. All right. Well, when last we left off, you had just slain a powerful vampire in a cyclopean chamber that was once part of a larger network of chambers, but seems to be maybe the only chamber that still survives from that once great underground maze. And you determined a couple of things, which I should make clear because I'm not sure it was really clear from the last session. One, Tsetseliya, with her arcane sight, has determined that there was some kind of necromantic spell affecting Saorisen, which the healing magic that Rogar used largely disrupted. But what that suggests to Tsetseliya with her passive insight is that Saorisen didn't just charge into the sickening radiance and then fall over. That the vampire had hit him with a spell of some kind, which is not to say that Saorisen wouldn't just charge into the sickening radiance and then fall over. But like, he has a lot of hit points, and one hit from that thing probably wouldn't have done him in. Another thing is that while you were searching around the room, remember there were those large tubes full of yellowish acidic fluid.
Mm-hmm.
One of them has a body floating in it.
Ah!
That's right.
The body
other
has a clock inside.
The other five are empty. Only 2 of them actually have fluid in them. One is broken and 2 are entirely empty. Also, Stirge, when you were looking around the chamber, you found a cot covered with a sheepskin, which is itself stained with several days old blood, as well as a series of bloody bandages. You could do
Ew.
further investigation on it if you like. And that is where we are, in this massive chamber with a ceiling so high it disappears into the darkness. An oddly shaped room with many sides, 7 irregularly placed pillars, filled with ancient, dusty, cobweb-covered alchemical equipment. You don't see any other door to this chamber, just the door that the massive doors you came through.
And didn't you say that the floor was like weirdly like seemed organic in nature, but was stone?
It is indeed stone, but it's shaped like bare muscle tissue.
That's right.
Yeah, that's right.
Oh,
And it's like it was grown that way rather than carved that way. It reminds you, those of you who have been in this place, unsettlingly of the Alhoun's ship that flew toward the moon.
Oh yeah.
Also gross.
Yeah, like it's a brain made out of stone that you're standing on.
gross.
Very strange. Okay.
So Stirge has a 20 left in his divination stack, and I think he wants to use that as a what do you call it? Investigation.
That should turn up some interesting stuff.
Of what?
So you want me to like name an area or
I
something?
told you everything you found in the room, and you rolled pretty well on your investigation before.
He
I
did
see.
say he could investigate the cot stuff.
Yeah.
Dirty rags. Okay.
Well, I mean,
is it a trick, or is there something interesting there? If he's like, yeah, you can totally
If
paw
you-
through the old bandages.
If you want to investigate that, you can indeed make a check.
Okay. So Sturge is going to go over to the biohazard dumpster.
Fair enough.
well, what about the body in the tube? Shouldn't
Yeah.
we spend a good roll on that?
Well, that's going to be obvious, right? You can like see who it is. but-
Well, this was my question. Is I suspect, I don't know. I genuinely don't know if this is something that makes any sense for Tsetseliya to suspect, but that is like getting rid of night mask victims, right?
Ah.
Like you throw the body in the swamp, you put the body in the acid tub, and then what's left? Jelly bones.
That feels like a lot of work for body disposal. I feel like
Well, I mean, if you kill
unless
someone
things change in the
identifiable.
last
They
few
are
years.
glass vats, and you can see that it is a person with skin, and
Oh,
like it is a woman. She doesn't have any hair. Okay. But like her skin is there, and she doesn't seem to be dissolving.
ooh, second guess vampire like incubation tubes. I
yeah.
don't know. Let's okay.
Uh,
We should look at that too.
What if we break it open and find out?
mhm.
We break it
All
open
right.
and the vampire comes out. Well, we should find both of. We should look at both of these things.
All right, so we threw a lot at you, Stephen. What is Sturge gonna do?
Sturge is going to go for what looks like a harder task, which is investing the biohazard dumpster. And he has a 26 on that.
Okay.
Just
Like
how
I
you-
said, there's a naked woman with no hair floating in this.
Wait. No. That's
He
not,
means that he's
The cot.
They're both biohazard dumpsters.
Yeah.
Here's the problem.
Okay, you're investigating the cot.
Yes.
Okay, great.
Yes.
Okay, so it is a cot wrapped in sheepskin, stained with old blood. You can tell that it is at least several days old, based on it being a little bit sticky, but mostly dried,
hmm
as well as a series of bloody bandages. They're very large bandages. You can tell they were used to wrap a very large wound. You think that the blood is human blood, and when you sniff it with your prodigious nose, you detect the faint whiff of a poison very similar to the poison that Tsetseliya and Ruan suffered under at the hands of the Countess of Venom.
Oh yeah, I had that dagger with me for a long time. That
That's
kind
right.
like-
It smells very much like that dagger.
of, Lotus.
Oh.
The one you stabbed Lazar with?
Yes. Yes. What? Are there any hairs there? Like, would I find a hair like that came off someone's head who was sitting on that?
CSI Westgate.
Sure, I'll
Yeah,
say
zoom
that
in.
yes.
Zoom
Yes,
in.
you find a few gray
Gray
hairs.
Gray hairs. Tsetseliya, since we only know one,
What?
does this look like your father's hairs?
What?
This looks like your father's hair.
I mean, I guess. What is this? Like,
Well, it seems. I mean, I only know one person who would be suffering from a wound of this sort. I wonder if he could possibly be undead. I'm not saying your father is still
Oh my-
alive. I'm just saying.
oh my god. I don't think anything could be worse than zombie Lazar.
Hmm.
Or vampire. Vampire Lazar is worse. That's worse.
Yeah.
Why did I set myself up like that?
So,
You
Stirge will-
actually think that's his?
It's okay. Silver hairs, smells like lotus poison, and why would he be all bloody?
You stabbed him? You stabbed him really hard? Also, I may or may not have chopped his head off, but I think no, if he's here and
That would-
not here now.
Yeah, he wouldn't be like coming to a
God, headless vampire Lazar. Why does this get worse and worse?
Ooh, Doug just suggested a Lich Lazar.
Oh my God!
That's also
stop!
bad. That's also bad.
Uh,
Also real bad.
well, if
Do
there's
you
any,
think he's really alive? I mean, I like. Okay, Stirge. Honestly, I've been thinking he's alive. I don't think any of that actually happened with the head
Really?
chopping.
you really? Oh, well.
It felt too easy. It felt, and it was all very okay. I
Wait a
think I
minute.
told you the full of it, but it was all very weird and like a dream. And
Okay, but still, it wasn't easy. I had to
no,
cut visibility. I had to sneak for several.
I meant me. I meant my part of it.
Oh, I wasn't there for that, was I?
No, I told you.
Oh, that was.
I
the
had a weird
part
vision.
in your.
I was there, and then I was this other place where he was trying to escape because he teleported, right? But I don't think it was all the way real.
When you suffered from the poison, did it not heal? Was that the problem? The wound wouldn't heal.
It wouldn't heal, and also everything else started bleeding,
I
including
have
nose,
concluded.
eyes, and fingernails.
I have concluded in the last moments that this is in fact the blood of your father.
Oh my God.
Well,
I mean, yeah,
so-
I'm right, but
can we check the woman in the tube to see like if she looks like she's bleeding from her fingernails? Because I mean, like obviously I wouldn't give her this name, but somebody's rule of like simplicity, like a razor, would indicate
Let's just call it Drit's razor.
that like if somebody bled on the cot and then maybe they'd be the person in the tube.
Oh.
So if we check her for bloody wounds or I mean I don't know that she would smell like anything after being in that stuff, but
Are you-
we
poison.
should see who it is anyway.
Yeah.
What if it's Lazar? What if Lazar is your mother and not your father?
Twist.
Whoa, twist.
I approach the vat-bound body,
Okay.
and does this person look like they are interred, or they are like, they're, I don't know, do they look like they were somebody who was like thrown in and shackled in, or is it more like they're like just floating there freely?
Just kind of floating there.
Hmm.
Eyes closed, seemingly
Or lip up. Shut your teeth.
unconscious, dead, you're not sure.
Did they have any wounds across them?
You don't see any wounds.
Is there like a lever or something?
Yeah, like
No.
So Stong's gonna walk up next to Shiny and also like look at the woman in the container, and then he's gonna turn over to Shiny, aka Adrian, and say, "Do you think we should free her, or
I was
do you...
literally just about to ask you the same thing, so yes.
All good
we're
minds
both
think
thinking
alike.
that.
But do we have an answer between the two of us?"
I think we are both. If we take both of our 50% yeses, that adds up to 100% yes.
Whoa! Yes, perfect math.
Mirabelle looks up at both of you and goes, "Daddy's smash."
All right, we're gonna smash the thing.
Yeah. So yeah, we flex our arms together and I guess punch in unison.
I know what I said. Anyway,
Oh gosh.
All
right.
All right, we're gonna break it.
okay. I'm gonna need you to make a group strength check. So it's just the two of you doing it.
Yep.
So both of you make a strength check, please.
I don't think the rest of us need to muddy that water.
I mean, Artemisia can come and be like, eh.
I don't actually have Roll20 open, so you're just gonna have to tell me what you
Just a
get.
12.
I got a 20.
Nice.
Ah, okay. Well, half of you succeeded, so you break it open, and the glass
nice
just
shiny.
shatters, and the fluid comes spilling out. Now I'm going to need you both to make dexterity saving throws.
Ooh,
Catcher,
that's
please.
less good for me. I'm not even sure what that is. I have to look at it. Oh, it's bad.
Well, don't we
I
get
get
some sort
my,
of bonus for,
I do
for
it.
your
We both get plus
plus-
4.
+4? So I have a 10.
I have a 15.
Excellent.
Well, it's not
Drop the poor woman on the
particularly
ground.
excellent. You take 7 points of acid damage, both of you.
Oh, nuts.
Oh.
As some of the glop just slides over you and caustically burns you as it goes
Well, that
past.
was minorly unpleasant.
How is she okay then?
Yeah, it's a good question.
Vampire.
It-
Vampire.
It's this
Vampire.
very, it's this very
Magic.
viscous, vaguely acidic stuff. Would you like to try and figure out what it is?
I'm first paying attention to the body that's sliding out, probably.
Okay, yeah, a body does slide out. Which of you catches her? Either?
I do.
Neither?
Well, as Shiny does, Stong will take like a finger of the goop and then taste it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Of course.
She hasn't done it for a while. We were
Yeah.
due.
Let's see. So make a, I guess, knowledge nature check.
I mean, this-
Song.
And then a con saving throw.
15. Yeah.
Okay, what it really tastes like is embryonic fluid.
Oh. Ew.
Stong shares that with
Now-
a frown.
Now, how would Stong know what
Right,
embryonic
exactly,
fluid
like-
tastes like? Who can say? But he rolled
Stong
pretty
is-
high on his nature check, so
I catch the woman.
okay. You're holding her in your arms gallantly.
Is
She
there any
just
other
kind
way?
of shivers,
Right.
and then
Chat is
her,
disgusted by
Yeah,
your
I know.
fluid.
and then her eyes flutter, and she looks up at you.
Check her teeth. Check her teeth. Check her teeth.
Do we recognize her? Anyone?
Make a insight check, or an intelligence check if you prefer.
Orc
Did
babies are
anybody
pretty tough, so I
else?
could see where he
Is
might
that
have had to like
everybody?
tear an orc
Yeah.
baby free or
I
something.
have
Everyone
to.
who's
I
there.
have to believe that we're generally looking at Shiny like, what are you doing?
I'm going to ask her if she's all right.
Well, that's my one for the evening, I hope. No more from here. Artemisia does not know. She's too grossed out.
Yeah, same. I rolled a 9.
Yeah, she looks up at Shiny like he's a valiant hero who's just rescued her, and she says, "What? Where am I? What's going on?"
Where's
Yep,
my
you-
hair?
You're beneath Westgate. You've been, it looks like, entombed in some sort of birthing tube.
Oh, how horrible! And she hugs you.
Stong,
Uh-huh.
Stong says, yeah. It
Go
was
up for the neck, man.
Oh,
She
man.
doesn't appear to have fangs.
Does not.
Fine.
No,
How did you get here?
I don't remember.
What is the last thing you remember?
She seems to think back, and she says, "I was walking through the alley, and these dark figures appeared, and then I was here."
Oh, good. Oh, I flare with rage. for a minute, and I say, well, we're going to get you to safety. Do you live in Westgate? Do you have someplace safe you can go?
I don't remember anything. It's all a blur.
Well, we have a place where we can take you and you can stay and recover yourself. And I look up at everyone expectantly.
Everyone's
Just
looking at
offering
Shiny
our
like,
house.
I'm not sure we do.
Stong, out of the side of his mouth, says, "Doesn't pay the rent, brings back strays." But then he says, "Well, I suppose we could keep her at our place, though."
What Rogar? Isn't there one of the temples that she could go to? Maybe.
So just to step out a little bit. So we ended last session with Saorisen saying, you have to protect Tsetseliya from ruin, and so that's where Rogar is kind of stuck
Rogar
right
is
now.
like, he looks over at you.
Rewind
Like,
back.
what's even
Rogar
happening
is like,
over there?
I'm sorry,
They're
I've
in
got a
that
bigger
Saorisen
thing
in
here.
shock, and so I'm just kind of in that stasis until this exploration stuff is done.
Okay.
So you look over to
Oh.
Rogar, and you're like, he doesn't seem like okay. This is not a good time to.
Or maybe we just threw the ball to you.
Yeah. Well, I
Well,
guess I mean, yeah.
Am
we
I?
could.
Am I
We could,
hearing
yeah.
that you're going to leave this place and go back to Briarhouse?
That's the plan. We have to get this
Although,
place to safety.
do we have a way to be like to make the house secure? Because we got hit there,
That's a good point.
Yeah.
Briarhouse is
Yeah.
not a safe place.
and so it would
what about
make me feel a lot better if we knew we could make sure that night masks didn't teleport in.
If only people knew the alarm spell. Or guards and wards.
I am genuinely surprised.
Or we could buy some scrolls in the future.
Yeah, that's
Hey.
true.
There we go. Well, we did get some money from a chest here. Anyway, Artemisia, the rune rests that Marin runs, Artemisia knows all about like all of those, where they are, which have
Okay.
resources, that sort of thing. So I'd suggest that we drop her off at one of those, because Artemisia's thing is not that like she distrusts this woman, but just like she only wants people she's absolutely sure of now that we're gonna like lock down Briarhouse. So
I'm not convinced that the night masks won't come after her wherever she goes.
She's not a night mask planned.
Shiny, did you already check her over with your paladin senses?
Oh, good point. I'm going to open my eyes wide and just vibrate and sense good and evil.
I assure the girl
Y'all
this
laugh,
is
but
very
that's
normal.
literally how it works.
This is normal. Don't worry.
Okay, so I'm just gonna look up the ability on my own to make sure that I'm not gonna give you false information here. So,
Totally fair.
let's see. So it's divine sense, right?
Yep.
It's
Celestial.
modified by anything else?
No, I don't have
Yes,
any
true
modifier
sight.
for it.
Does have
That's
true sight. Okay, she doesn't seem to have any illusions or anything on her. Like what you see is the same thing everyone else sees.
Okay, and she's not a celestial, a fiend, or an undead?
Nope.
Great.
Not a vampire.
She's
All
good
right,
at all.
fine.
In fact, you sense no undead in this room,
Excellent.
except you're getting a slight vibe off of Sarshan, which is weird.
Yeah. And also like some sort of otherworldly energy from Mirabelle, right?
A little bit, but yeah, she's not an actual fiend. This is
Yeah.
how tieflings with magic often feel.
All right.
Okay, back to Briarhouse, huh?
Yeah. Well, Artemisia, did you have somewhere else safe that you think she could stay that isn't Briarhouse that we're certain is safe?
You want to leave her at one of the rune rests?
that's Artemisia's idea. I mean,
Okay.
you can
Yeah,
you can
do that.
overrule her if you think those wouldn't be.
I just don't know that would be actually safe.
I mean,
We-
Briarhouse isn't actually safe. So.
Well, you could leave her at a rune rest for now, and then Shiny can, recollect her on his way out of town later if he wants
It's
to.
not a bad idea, actually. Maybe getting her out of town would be the safest thing possible.
Yeah.
Probably,
Listening to the
yeah.
DM is always a good idea.
Do you want to ask her any questions before we do that? Or does she seem like too shocked to be?
She seems like she needs
worthwhile?
some food and some sleep, and then we can ask her questions.
Got it.
She seems a bit out of it.
Okay.
Okay. So you dump her out of rune rest. You head back to Briar House.
We
No.
deliver her to the care of the rune rest.
Right.
Don't freak shame.
Wait, tell me about this. Tell me about this rune rest.
So they're basically homeless shelters set up in Westgate by one of the most benevolent of the ruling people in Westgate, who is Mirren, right? And Shiny knows Mirren. You've met Mirren before.
Yeah. She's cool.
Yeah. So she runs this network of homeless shelters that give food and shelter and clothing for the unfortunate in Westgate.
All right, I'm
And
comfortable.
Artemisia kind of is part of the operation of that because Artemisia is sort of involved in Mirren's business by necessity at first, and now sort of like just knows a lot about it.
I'm comfortable leaving this woman there if we can talk to Mirren directly.
Yeah, you can see Mirren and you tell her that this woman has amnesia. Mirren's very sympathetic to that because Mirren also suffers from amnesia. And
We
she
drop
says,
her
no,
with
I'll
Mirren
take
at
good
that
care
point?
of her.
I mean, at that point, can we just drop her at Dark Dance Manor?
Yeah, if you want.
Is that
Tell
better?
me about this dark dance.
That's where you came through. That's Mirren's house.
Oh,
it's
okay.
Mirren's
Yes,
tower.
that is much preferable.
Yeah, all right. That's very safe, generally
Okay,
speaking.
yeah, that's much preferable.
All right.
Artemisia would feel bad, like dropping random people with Mirren, but then like Mirren was dropped with us for a while.
Yeah.
There is that.
Okay.
Also,
Then you
Shiny
head
did
back-
it, so you don't
You
even
head
feel
back
bad.
to Briar
Yeah,
House.
Mirren and I have
The
enough.
credits roll. Okay, we're done with the preamble. So now we're at Briar House.
Well, what
Um,
happened with the whole? Sorry, never mind.
Yeah, what were you going to ask?
What happened with Sarshan and Rogar?
Sarshan and
guess I
Rogar
missed
are
my
like
opportunity.
walking
That's
along
fine.
and like glancing at each other, but they're just not saying anything because
I'd be saying,
You want
well,
to-
okay. I'd be
something
like, what do you
awkward
mean
and-
by
Oh, make
don't?
space. Make
Yeah.
space. Do it.
yeah, go ahead.
What do you mean by to Sarshan? What do you mean? Protect Tsetseliya from ruin.
I couldn't say.
And now we're walking up Briar House. What is this? Is this the Geish thing again? Are you
Well, I did promise Tsetseliya
promised
That-
Tsetseliya?
that I wouldn't trigger my curse if I could avoid it.
So,
Are you gonna push him? I'm not next to you.
well, if you can warn me about ruin, if you can say ruin's a danger, you cannot say why. Like, the,
It's complicated.
can you? Would he intentionally harm Tsetseliya?
I couldn't say.
Would he?
Now everybody else knows how Tsetseliya feels.
It's Aaron. Aaron's like, drama attention.
Is he acting on behalf of another? Of another?
Couldn't say.
Is he all right? Yeah, I have sympathy
I'm-
for
I'm
Tsetseliya
sorry.
right now.
I'm sorry, Rogar. I just couldn't say.
All right.
He does look sympathetic and apologetic.
I understand you're suffering this curse as much as we are, Rogar says, and let's go and find some way to heal you of this. That's what we should do. Obviously.
Maybe. Okay.
Would be healing you of this a bad thing?
I couldn't say.
Ah!
All right.
And now we walk.
to Briar House. So there are basically two things that I think we've worked out need to happen. One, you're going to try and get answers out of Sarshan.
Yeah.
And two, Adrian has his own thing to do.
Yeah. So Adrian is, I can explain this in character, or we can.
Go ahead and explain it in character.
So I think that first we've dropped that woman off with Mirren, right? And that went without a hitch.
Mm-hmm. Mirren
that's-
says, "Yeah, I'll take care of her," and the woman seemed glad to be taken care of.
Excellent, good. So I guess I sit down with Stong and anyone else who happens to be in the room at the time when we get back to Briar House. And I pretty much tell him that Westgate for me is not a place that I can stay at the moment. Adrian seems to be, you've never known him to be like dodgy or like trying to avoid any particular like concern, but he definitely, it seems like when you talk to him, it definitely seems like his mind is elsewhere and there is something larger. And you will notice he hasn't told you any particulars about this quest that he has been on outside of Westgate. But I sit Stong down and I want to just have a nice chat about Mirabelle and just sort of what she's been up to and how much she has progressed. And in particular, I want to ask Stong, people have been kind of dancing around something, it feels like, in regards to you in the last few years. Did something happen that we need to talk about?
Well, I kind of tried to hint at it earlier, but do you remember when you tried to get me to read the book that had its tongue tore out and I handed it back to you?
Yes,
because
and
I did not want to read it.
Respected your reticence to that, but I am curious, and I feel like you can share this with me if you need to.
Well, books make me evil sometimes.
Books should be burned.
Good way to put it.
Books either make me stronger or they make me evil. So far, it's been 50-50, and that is not good odds.
Any
When
books?
it was a book in Mirren's library. And, when I say evil, I mean, like,
Evil.
full-blown evil. Oh, Stirge, where'd you come from?
Ah.
When you go outside and you saw all of the destruction in the streets of Westgate, the broken
Yes.
towers, the homeless people, the burnt down noble houses, the looted banks, the crying children, the sad yelping dogs and cats, the birds that have no feathers, the sewers that are overflowing with sewage.
Mirabelle goes, "Daddy, get to a point."
Oh, sorry, Mirabelle. That was all because of me.
What do you mean?
I invited a Githyanki warband and an orc horde to come take over this city because I felt that it was better to have those people and myself in control rather than let the natural government of Westgate continue to exist because they were corrupt and they were a threat to our friends.
Well, what is the current status after all of that? Has the former government taken control again?
Well, I'm unsure, to be honest, but it doesn't seem like any one group has taken control of Westgate. If anything, I've been trying to help rebuild it. But, in the process of destroying Westgate, Stong is going to take Mirabelle and he is going to, like, put her on the table and, he, like, as he's been talking, he, like, can't really, like, look at her. And, every time she tries to, like, come towards him or something, he kind of, like, pushes her away a little bit. And he says, I couldn't have taken over Westgate or murdered all the nobles alone, though. I needed help from somebody really loyal to me. Somebody who I could trust 100%. And
Mirabelle looks over at Adrian and says, "Always choose daddy."
Oh, dang.
Huh. I understand. You're not that way any longer, though. And it seems like there's, at least from my wanderings, it seems like there's some sort of power vacuum in Westgate, and I know you've done wrong, but you were right in that the previous government was corrupt. It was evil. It doesn't sound like you found the proper substitution, but Adrian sort of gestures at the window. Maybe
yeah,
this is
there's
all-
chaos and destruction out there.
Maybe this is all. Maybe this is all just a preamble to a better future for this city. Stong, 3 years ago, you telling me that would have sent me into a spiral. There is something greater going on. Not just in Westgate, but beyond its borders as well. Something that I can't talk to you about just yet.
Wow. It must be something truly awful if you took what I said and it doesn't, if you're willing to forgive me so easily.
I'm not. I'm not sure who I am. And I need to find that out, and I need to find that out without you and these people here. I'm glad that you are safe. I'm glad that Mirabelle is safe. And she seems to be. I look at Mirabelle and see that she still looks the same.
She kind of crawls over to you and like reaches up for you.
I pick her up.
Yep, she hugs you.
I still don't know what any of this is, and it is so contrary to everything that I was raised to understand. I should hate you. I should hate Mirabelle. I should hate this city. But I don't.
I'm glad you don't. I was so afraid that you would have to follow your paladin code.
No, I'm learning, and I was trying to explain this to your friend Rogar. I'm learning the code is so much more than what the church tells us, what even the Holy Scripture tells us. But my point is that I have much more to learn and much more to develop myself before I can return to Westgate and to you, and I look down at Mirabelle, to both of you, for good. I happened to be nearby, and I happened to be with I look at Stone. Are you familiar with Triadic Knights?
Is Stong familiar with Triadic Knights?
Make a history check or a religion check, either one.
Let's go for history. 6.
Triadic Knights sound like an order of knights.
They're an order of knights.
And there is it sounds like a religious thing. That's all you know about it.
Probably religious, aren't they?
I'm kind of glad you rolled a 6. I was ready. I had it queued up. I was ready, and then you're like,
Sorry,
6, and I'm like, okay.
All right. Well, keep an eye out for them. They're not bad people, but they might not have the same intentions as me in regards to Westgate. Just keep an eye out.
Wait, Stong is gonna stop real quick, and he's gonna really look at Shiny. Does he look the same? Like, what is does he see like new scars? Does he see any like weariness?
No,
there.
he's doppelganger.
He just pulls his face off, and it's just this red skull. No, make
I knew
a
it.
make a perception check. All
Okay.
right, so Stefan, the way we do this is that when players use skills on each other, I have them roll, and then I have the defending player determine what they get based on the roll.
All right, well, he got a
Natural.
crit, so
Excellent.
20.
So what does he say?
Sees right through you.
See all your
Um,
Feel
wrinkles.
free to describe yourself as much as you
all
want.
right.
the aging.
We quiet up for a minute and we do trespasso, where we just stare into each other's eyes, unblinking. And you notice a few things. You do notice a few scars. You notice gray at the roots of some of his hair. It looks like, I mean, you know that Adrian's only in his early 30s, but he looks as if he's aged 10 years in the last like 18 months. He does have new scars, but they are. Did you ever see Inglourious Bastards? So he has around his neck, there is he wears chainmail at all times, but it looks as if he has a scar as if he was strangled by something. And something dug its claws into him. And you can see it just under like the cusp of his like chainmail. It looks like he's really been through some shit, but primarily in his eyes, you can tell that everything he's telling you is the truth, and he is telling you as absolutely much as he can. You can see he's sort of straining with trying to tell you more, but he knows that he can't.
So, Stong is going to slowly. So Mirabelle is in Shiny's arms, and so Stong is going to put a hand on Mirabelle's back, and then he's also going to put his other hand like on your like forearm, and he's going to say, "Shiny, Adrian, what happened to you out there on the road?"
Mirabelle looks concerned.
Many things. Many things that are not yet completed. Just keep an eye out for the Triadic Knights, a Sir Wyan in particular. Just remember that name. Be mindful. And always keep an eye out.
Did this Sir Wyan hurt you?
No. But I can't promise that he won't hurt you. And I look down at Mirabelle as well.
Mirabelle's like eyes are starting to well up a little bit.
But my point is, I have much that I need to take care of. Is there anybody else in the room with us, or is it just us?
Just
Well,
Sturge in
Sturge
the
might
corner.
be here, but who can say?
You're just in the shadows.
I'm gonna say, Sturge, are you present?
I didn't want to interrupt.
Oh!
Knew you were there.
Moment, my guy.
He's everywhere.
All right. Well, excellent.
Cheers, balls. Anyway.
It's late at night, right?
Yeah.
Okay, great.
I think you're in the early hours in the morning now.
Let's just say that it was not coincidence that the Night Masks came after me the moment I showed up, and I'm not convinced until I figure out this business that I have. I'm not convinced that my being here isn't putting you and primarily Mirabelle in more danger. So I'm going to head out. I'm going to go back on the road. I'm glad to see you're doing well. And you too, Sturge. And I look around. Do I see him anywhere? Is he just...
Make a perception check, buddy.
All right.
Oh, Rogar's very sad to hear that you're leaving.
If you,
Oh God, is Rogar here too?
Everybody's here. Ah.
I think Rogar is like staring into the fire, going.
I mean, it sounded like you were saying your goodbyes. Sorry, so I thought
Yeah.
maybe if
Oh, yeah.
Rogar, if Rogar hears you starting to say, "Oh, farewell, farewell," he'd be like,
Don't let him leave without saying goodbye to the rest of us.
Aye.
I won't.
I feel like that's a definite Stong thing to be sure of.
Yeah.
Even if
I
Shiny's
didn't
like,
think he
I'm
was.
gonna go.
Yeah, because Adrian's definitely feeling like he wants to kind of just like ghost everyone. Because Adrian's never been the most like social person. So I imagine Stong would want to keep him around to make sure he says goodbye to everyone.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I
Mirabelle
mean,
looks up at Adrian and goes, "Huggles."
you
I
mean
give
you
her
have to leave
a
right now?
warm and very fatherly hug.
I look at Mirabelle's expression. What is her response to his fatherly hug?
Make an insight check.
Oh, another natural 20, 2 in a row.
You were
Okay.
so empathetic tonight.
I am.
If you'd rolled lower, you probably would have just got that she seemed really sad and didn't want him to leave. But since you rolled really high, you get that she is sad, but that she understands.
Oh, that's nice.
And she does expect to see him again. So it's not like a permanent sadness.
Certainly. And Adrian has full intention of returning. He just has very pressing matters to attend to.
Adrian,
Yes, Stung. I still don't see him, but I heard. Yes, Stung. I still don't see him, but he's
Sturgeon's he's sitting in a patterned chair with a patterned suit that matches it exactly, and
Wow.
Ramengleer is the Sherlock Holmes
you
of
were so
Westgate.
extra, and I love it.
he turns his head in such a way that he reveals himself, and he says,
Ah!
"Would you? I am sad after just having the pleasure of your acquaintance again, that you are leaving. But before you do, I wish to know a couple things, if you would not mind clarifying.
Of course.
The Triatic Knights, are they evil, or are they so good they're evil?"
They are not.
If
They
you
are,
would like to make a history of religion check to see if you know anything about them, you can do that too. Go ahead and finish what you were going to say, Stefan.
they are not evil. They are zealous. They are passionate. They are like I used to be.
I see.
Very similar. They worship.
Heroes.
They are heroes, but they have been staring into the light of justice for so long that I worry they have gone blind.
Oh my lord! You just said the words "I" and "justice" in the same sentence.
Tell him what he's won.
Wait a minute. I'm gonna look at Stirge and say, "Do you know about the Eye of Justice?"
Oh, yes, I do. And I wonder, are they associated with the Eye? And if so, what's taking them so long with dealing with the freaking vampires?
Huh. They have mentioned the Eye of Justice repeatedly. They refer to it as a heretical cult in Westgate here.
Oh, well, maybe they'd do us the favor of eliminating them.
That is my concern, because they are not known for discriminate purging.
Do you think they would come for the Eye of Justice? Is that what you're saying?
I am not entirely certain. I traveled with them for a short time.
I see.
Just
So
be wary, please.
you don't want them to see a demon baby, for instance.
Yes, wow, nice job. Yes, this is exactly my concern.
Right.
Straight to the point.
I understand.
Wow, Serge, it's like you're listening.
Yeah, this is exactly my concern. If these guys come here, yeah, this is a yes. Thank you.
All right. Adrian, it's been a great pleasure. I wish to gift you a couple of the potions that we got from the Night Masks to send you on your way. Would you mind if I go fetch them?
Yes, I would happily take any resources. I don't have any money out on the road.
You never have any money, so it's new. But
That's
we can
true.
take this time to summon everybody else to say goodbye to you.
Okay, Stirge will step out. He's going to go get some potions, which I guess you better.
Match the chair, and then you just like stand up and leave.
Yeah, it looks like the chair is walking out of the room. But he's also going to have to cast a couple identifies real quick, so he knows what the hell he's giving. But you can take care of that off screen, Eric. That's fine.
You get used to this around here, Adrian.
I doubt I ever would.
So, ahead of a goodbye, Tsetseliya does want to have a quick group conversation because this involves Shiny.
Okay.
So the
Making
vampire. Oh man, I wish. No, unfortunately, it's vampire shenanigans. So that vampire wanted the shard of the Night Mask Goblet, and he thought Shiny had it. Now, what's confusing to me is that my plan was to give it to Shiny, because I'm sorry, Shiny, you seem like the one of us who's the least likely to get into any kind of evil
It's true.
nonsense. And if you were going to leave and take it, that seemed like the safest thing. But if they assumed that he had it before I ever thought to give it to him, I'm not sure if that's a good idea. But at this point, we're all in the middle of it.
Well, that's actually a good point. I'm going to be away from Westgate, and I am much less likely to run afoul of them while I'm out there.
This is true, but if they're looking for you, I mean, I don't know what to do with it. It's in my banishment demiplane for now. I can't tell you how long stuff stays there. And actually, DM question, because when I was in there, I saw some things, and you were going to tell me what they were later, and I forgot to ask you in the downtime.
Right. You made a pretty good perception check, as I recall. Yes? Okay. Yeah, you saw that there were specifically there were separate cells that appear to be like, it's like every time you cast a spell, it carves out a new cell and it puts a creature in that cell. And so you can see one that has some bullet scales in it, for instance.
It's like the prison dimension that Superman uses. What's that called?
Oh,
Oh, I don't remember.
The
Negative.
negative zone.
yeah, something
like that.
No, that might be the Marvel one.
Yeah.
Anyway, yeah, it's like that exactly.
Google.
Anyway, and there was one room that was the most recent cell next to the one that you appeared in, or actually, we'll say you appeared in that cell.
Okay.
You always appear in the most recently created cell whenever you cast banishment on yourself, and
Good to know.
the negative zone. Thank you, chat. Anyway, and what you found was a pool of blood, and some pieces of that assassin's garb that were like hooked on the spiky ice shards poking out of the wall, but no assassin's body.
Got it. So she got out somehow. So
Yeah.
can't leave it there. But there wasn't like a tunnel to another dimension that I can worry about, so that's good.
And you didn't see one specifically.
Okay.
I mean, in the group meeting, Artemisia will at least suggest things don't seem to leave her the ring world place that she goes to.
True. That might be good. They don't seem to know about it either.
Now, chat has corrected that the DC one is the Phantom Zone.
That's right. That's what it is.
Okay.
ding ding ding.
Yeah, Star Chaser.
Right.
Maybe Tsetseliya's might be called like the Winter Zone, or
Maybe.
The winters.
I feel like Tsetseliya was so lazy she won't name it.
maybe
Like, how many
maybe,
pocket dimensions do I own? One.
maybe you banish people to the endless winter.
Just this one corner of it.
Yeah, just this one specific corner of it,
Oh,
like
see,
deep in
I
the
think
glacier.
It would probably wigger out a little to realize that's where they were going.
Fridge.
You know
But
they make hotels made out of ice in Sweden. It'd be like that, except
Yeah.
no cushy.
Like an ice hotel.
so
Yeah.
Except like
question.
a really shitty ice hotel. The room is only like 10 feet
I am
wide
not
and
going
has
to
no
work
exit.
at building a magical ice hotel for someone that I just want to go away for a minute.
It's mostly
Um,
just a series of discrete cells that you can move between, but no one
So-
else can.
That now I'm curious, and I don't know if there's something there to make Tsetseliya go, this is the endless winter. But if the assassin is just gone, or if the assassin chiseled her way out into the endless winter.
You don't see. You do see like finger scratches on the
Okay.
walls.
Oh,
I don't know how she
but
got
you
out.
don't see any like cracks or
Fair.
entrance to another chamber or something.
fingernails embedded in the ice.
Complicated. Okay. Okay. So I'm down for that. I don't want to put a target on your back, and especially I would feel more comfortable giving Shiny this shard if we knew why they thought he had it. Do you know why they thought you had it?
I have no idea.
Because I think Sarshan knows.
Star Chaser in the chat just called it the CC zone. It's kind of funny. Anyway,
I think Mirabelle's the only one allowed to call her that.
yeah. Aunt CC.
Yep.
Yeah, as soon as Tsetseliya shows up, Mirabelle goes, Aunt CC.
To ruffle her little spiky hair. In my head, she has a perpetual cowlick. So.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yes.
Likewise.
All right. We got votes.
Was that what?
Right now, the two propositions on the table are put it in the ring and give it to Shiny. I feel like we should all agree, or at least the majority of us agree.
I'm happy to take it. I have no problems there.
I like that idea.
Randy's good with sending it with Shiny. Rogar would probably say, I'd feel more comfortable put it in the ring just because I feel giving it to Shiny puts his life in danger, and I'm kind of opposed to putting someone else's life in
I
danger.
think that Tsetseliya might be voting ring.
Sure.
I wonder if it could corrupt the ring. It's already got one corrupt.
If it can corrupt things, why are we giving it to Shiny?
One shard to rule them all.
I mean, Shiny is incorruptible. He's just so bright.
Well,
My three descriptive words.
By putting it in the ring, you are essentially putting it in Lilton's court.
That's not Lilton.
It's not Lilton.
It's
Stirge, it's a thing she's doing with her brain. We don't know why. Don't bring too much attention to it.
Do we know that much? I think we know that much.
Yeah.
That's not real Lilton. That's
Pretty sure that's. You're pretty
persistent-
sure it's
I mean,
not real.
Artemisia knows that too, but she hasn't quite convinced herself that Dream Lilton doesn't
Have some kind of
download
connection.
to Lilton somehow or something. But
That makes me nervous. You see, also, I'm selfish in that I think if we give it to Shiny, it ensures that he returns someday. Otherwise, we may not see him again.
Oh, I'm getting
You'll
convinced
see
both
me.
ways. Because that's the other thing, is if it's in the ring, then Stirge knows where it is. I'm sorry, Stirge, but we know you. It's a magic item.
You know, I would point out I was the one who created that little chunk of goblet. If I really cared that much about, I wouldn't even touch the goblet. I don't know how you got your fingers on it. You must have done something very careful, because touching it alone might do what happened to Mirren. I don't want any part of that.
Mirabelle raises her little hand.
You touched it?
Mirren, do you have a vote? Or Mirabelle, do you
That's
have a vote?
Mirabelle.
Give to Daddy. Daddy, come back.
Okay.
Yeah.
Stong, you had a vote?
I
We're
vote
currently
with my
split.
daughter. I can't say no. She's so cute.
Okay.
I take
so
the evil
Tsetseliya's gonna banish herself back to the demiplane. Is it still there? Because that's
It
my
is still
first
there.
fear. GM's like, screw you.
Artemisia is
Ha
gonna be like, "Can I
ha!
come
Game
too?"
over.
Yes.
Or is it just you?
Just gonna grab Artemisia's hand
Yay.
and go together.
Okay.
And actually, while we're in there, Tsetseliya's just gonna take a minute and just do one of these kind of things, because she is freaking out. She is freaking out right now. Because Saorisen is broken, Lazar is not dead, and then there's also this part where Saorisen may or may not have tried to kill himself, and the one thing he promised was he was never gonna leave. And so she's like, wait, that was either he's a liar or this is really, really, really bad, and she doesn't think he's a liar. So, and I think she probably if Artemisia does any kind of sisterly gesture, she's gonna blah, all of that in a minute.
Because
So
Artemisia, that's not quite why she went along, but when Tsetseliya is okay, I gotta take a minute, Artemisia's gonna be so, do we need to stay here for a little bit?
Yep, 1 minute. And then the full vomit.
Standing in the living room, just waiting.
Yeah,
You get
basically.
used to this,
You're on my
Adrian.
time.
You get used to this, Adrian. It's normal around here.
You
Right.
for this, Adrian. It seems to be your most common phrase.
Right. All right, sisters. What are you going to
Right.
talk about?
Well, if Tsetseliya basically listed those things off, Artemisia's gonna be oh god, this is really important, what do I say? Can't say the wrong thing, for a second. and then she's gonna be like, well, so I guess we need to like get rid of the Gesh because
I don't think we can. I think we have to outsmart it is the only option. Because Rogar's done the restoration. It doesn't go away. This is a very, like I said, either he's not what he said he is, or this is really bad.
Well, so we gotta find out rather than just like worrying about the worst thing. So,
That makes sense.
like I think all of us together, we should like all think of ideas because I don't know. I don't think I'm smart enough to outwit a Gesh on my own, but like.
But you know, it's like that thing with the rune magic. Maybe you suck a little at it, and I suck a little at it, but together we suck less at it. And
Exactly.
if it's all of us, maybe we don't suck that bad. Okay.
Maybe.
Okay. So that's probably enough that the banishment drops because it's only a minute, even if she's really holding on to it.
Okay, yep. You come back to Briarhouse.
Pop.
All right. I got the thing. And here's the question. I don't remember that Sarshan handed it to her with any kind of wrapping.
Nope. He just
Okay,
pulled
so
it
she's
out
just
of
been
his pouch and
barehanding
just-
this. Like, okay. And
It's like a shard of so it's like a shard of silver with several rubies set into it.
Okay.
Slightly curved. It looks like it might have been part of a cup or a goblet of some kind.
All right, I'll take it.
Okay, it feels cold and
Don't touch it.
unsettling. Just touch it.
I glare at it and vibrate. Is it
Oh, it's definitely choked with necromantic magic.
good times? I'm gonna put it in like the deepest part of my little leather satchel.
Okay.
that vampire could see that in my pocket.
Wait.
Anything you can do.
I have just the thing, a lead box. I'll be right back. Size of a ring box.
I do. Oh, all right. He leaves, I guess.
Can vampires not see through lead?
Right?
You can't detect it with divination magic if you have.
That's true.
Rogar knows all about vampires and their weaknesses. So
That's true.
All right
Uh,
then. I'll
was-
carry
I-
the box around.
I have a 9 intelligence, so I know a lot. And I read Bartleby's Bestiary. In Bartleby's Bestiary, it said clearly that vampires can't see through lead or anything pink. And right,
the
and
color
also,
pink is anathema to the blood-sucking undead.
and Rogar will fetch him a pickle too. So if you have a pickle in your pocket, a vampire won't stalk it. That's I'm pretty sure that's a true saying. So if you just keep this.
Vampires. Can I make a? Can I make like an instant?
Sitting behind Rogar, be like,
More PvP right here.
You can make a religion check, Stefan. if you like.
Excellent. That's something I'm kind of good at. I get an 18. Will this pickle save me from vampires?
No.
I like how we pause it.
Regardless, and I say I will keep this on me at all times, and I
Good.
stuff it into another pocket.
Okay, that makes me feel better about him taking the shard now. So that's good.
All right. So Stirge will get a lead ring box and say, keep it in there. I recommend you do not touch it with your bare fingers.
Deal. All right, that makes sense. I'll pick it up with my mailed gauntlet and put it in the box, and then put the box into my satchel. And it sounds like it's getting pretty heavy.
In
Yep.
addition,
Lead boxes are heavy.
here's your 3 potions of healing.
Ah, thank you. Hopefully, I won't need these anytime soon.
that is the thing the Night King needs. So do not let anybody get it.
I will do my best. Nobody has slain me yet.
Yep, that's good.
All right. Yeah, I'm gonna lift up Mirabelle, I suppose, and say, "You take good care of Stom."
Always protect Daddy.
Adrian, I'll walk you out.
All right.
To the front.
I say my goodbyes. Give a hearty handshake to everyone, unless
All right, and I'm gonna cast Death Ward on him as he leaves, which will protect him at least for the next 8 hours. That's the best I can do. And then
just in case the night mass jump you while you're trying to leave
while he's
Westgate.
leaving, aye.
I mean,
And
It's a
No.
Always possible.
and thank you very much for talking to me about the faith. You've given me a lot to think about.
Of course. Remember,
Sad. Right.
I'm gonna put one of my mailed gauntlets on your shoulder and say, remember that your church, your book, or even your faith, none of that can tell you what you hear from your divinity.
All right. Thank you. Aye, Sharon, let her watch over you.
I nod at that. And then I'll walk out with Stong.
hmm So it's just you and Stong standing on the porch. Stirge might be there. Who's to say?
Stong just assumes Stirge is always
I
there.
also will just assume that Stirge is there.
Yeah.
I don't know where you're going to go, or how long you'll be away, but I hope you'll be all right, my friend. I have something I'd really like to give you. I think it's really near and dear to my heart, and I know you will treasure it too. And he hands him like a sheet of his music, and it's like autographed Stong MacGuck, like real big on it. Someday this will be worth something.
I'm gonna look at you. I'm gonna look him in the eyes, hold this, and say, "It's already worth the entire world."
oh.
You got a high charisma, my friend. Very charisma.
I'm gonna give him a very hearty, like not like timid paladin-y hug, like a hug that a drunken fighter would give.
Oh, it's a hug to match a Stong hug.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, Stong gives him a orc hug back. It does 1 non-lethal damage to you.
If it didn't do 1 non-lethal damage, it wouldn't be a proper orc hug.
No. Oh, that drops me to 0. Ugh, no.
Well, Shiny tried to leave, but now he's unconscious.
Nobody leaves Briar House.
And then you ride away.
Yeah. I hop on my horse Uber and I take off.
Your
As-
horse Uber.
As Adrian is running away, Stong wants to stop him. He goes, "Wait, Adrian.
All right.
One last thing.
I
Sorry.
get up like halfway on my horse and I say, "Yes."
You know, I think there's something else I need to give you too." And so he unhooks Mirabelle from his chest and he hands her over to Adrian.
What?
What?
Huh?
And he says, "Look, I know where you're going. There will be peril. But I think there will be a lot of peril here too, especially now that you've told me that these knights that are coming really hate demon children. I've already done so much corrupting of our daughter, and I don't know what I'll have to do to protect everybody else here in the future. And I know, deep down, you've always been the true, upstanding, bright, shiny beacon. You will teach her, and you will show her things that I never could. I spent so much time with her, and now, I think it's your turn."
All right. I'm gonna take her solemnly and quietly and say, "If she learns half as much with me as she has with you, she will be all the greater for it. I'll return with her in the not too distant future, my friend. And I'm going to reach out one more time and very, very tenderly and inquisitively lean my head in closer to yours. See what happens."
Stog also really inquisitively is like,
Wrong?
And then, excellent.
Then the moment is then we break away, and the moment is
And we
Actually,
look around.
for the future.
Not
Here's
sure
Arabelle
if Stirge
giggles.
is anywhere nearby.
Stirge says, you didn't think, sorry to interrupt,
Oh, hi, sir.
I'm quite certain everyone would like to say goodbye to Mirabelle. May I mean, don't let me interrupt.
I mean,
Stirge.
the most interrupting thing you could have done.
Don't make this harder for me than it already is, my friend.
Oh, well then I will say goodbye. And the girl,
I hope that they will forgive me.
Present the baby.
I'm going to give her a little hug, and I'm going to cast Whisper inside the house message. I'm going to say, get your asses out here if you want to say goodbye to Mirabelle.
You just hear Tsetseliya.
Oh my god.
And then I'm going to say, be good, little girl.
Oh, dear. All right. Yes, this is happening.
So you get a message that says, get your asses out here if you want to say goodbye to Mirabelle.
Go out, say our goodbyes. I'm not prepared. I have no prepared remarks. I feel
Actually,
like it's
so
Oh, go ahead.
it may completely break the moment, but the way Artemisia is going to say goodbye to Mirabelle is to be like, okay, so you got to take care of your scales, so be sure to use a bit of lotion and don't just use soap, because that's important.
Moisturous.
Because Artemisia
Tips.
love through skincare.
Moisturous. Mhm.
Love
Moisturous.
there. I love that.
Mirabelle really likes that word, which she's pronouncing wrong 3 times now.
Monstrous. Excellent.
Give her a
Rogar
hug
will
and,
go to
okay.
Stong and just put his hand on Stong's shoulder, because he knows this must have been a really he can't reach Stong's shoulder. He'll put his hand on
Stone will lean.
Stong's hip.
You know,
Stong's
he
lower back.
leans over to one side.
Ass.
And just
Yeah.
silently, kind of give him a little squeeze, because just let him know that Rogar's there for him if he needs.
I think Tsetseliya will tell Mirabelle to keep her daddy safe. Don't take anything, any crap from anybody. And then I think she's gonna go over to Stong and she's gonna be like, "You're a really good dad."
Thanks.
Oh, that's so nice.
Maybe one day I will be.
Too late, buddy. You're already there. And then she's gonna go back inside. Because I think she knows that Stong has always wanted Mirabelle to have as many experiences as possible, and this is hard, but it's that sort of family value that you prize, and you're walking the walk, even though it's hard.
All right, I'm gonna strap Mirabelle to the front of my plate armor with the strap for my shield and my sword. And I'm gonna give one last look at Briarhouse and at everyone. I guess not Tsetseliya, because she went inside. I guess see through the window.
I was done saying bye to you.
And I'm gonna flash a quick winning smile and salute, and then ride off.
Bling.
Okay.
Right.
I'll whisper, if you want me to cast Calm Emotions, I will to Stong, but just to if you but it's there for you if you need it at any point.
Ability magic.
All right.
Our magical Xanax.
Yeah,
That's
Magica Soma.
That's a real good time to take our break, but I want to ask, I want to say one thing and I want to ask one thing. So the first thing is that I'm going to ask a question, and this is of Adrian. On your way out of Westgate, do you go and see that lady again?
Yeah.
Okay. Do you want to take her with you? Or do you want to leave her there?
Damn it! I should have asked that to the group.
Yeah, but now it's
Now
just
you're
you
on
and
your own.
Honestly,
Unless you know sending.
She seems real grateful and happy to see you again, actually.
I would take her along if I didn't have Mirabelle now, but I don't know if I can fit 2 people in addition to me on my horse. But I just check in with Mirren. I don't see the woman directly, I guess. I just check in with Mirren to make sure the woman is safe and lucid.
Yes. I think she's going to be fine. She really wanted to know if you were coming back. I think she was rather taken with you, actually.
I flush and, oh, well, that's good. Good, I'm glad she's safe. Give her the address to Briar House, please.
Oh, she'll be so disappointed if you don't say goodbye yourself.
I'm trying to think what Adrian would do there. In his mind, he would prefer to not have to deal with people if he's not like actively saving them. But if it is a lady directly requesting his presence, then he will oblige.
Okay. So yeah, you get in there, and she's like, "Oh, you're back. Oh, please take me with you. You're leaving this place, right?"
I am. I thought you were from Westgate.
Oh, yes, but I really need to leave. It's so frightening here. It's so dangerous.
It is.
I can cook. I can clean your armor. I'm not too bad with a knife, actually.
What is your name?
I can learn. Tana. Tana is my name.
I look to Mirabelle and see how she responds.
She goes, "Eh."
Okay, that's good enough for me.
I'm not there, but like distantly, Tsetseliya's like, why do I feel super suspicious all of a sudden?
Yeah, I was just saying the same thing. Woman found in a
like,
vat.
no,
in
is
a...
something in the air?
I ask Mirren if she has a horse she can sell me.
Adrian, I would never sell you a horse.
Oh.
I'll conjure you one instead.
Are those permanent? Oh. I don't want to get.
Blue horse appears.
Oh.
Mirren
That's,
says,
Oh.
that worked out pretty well.
yeah, that's inconspicuous. So thank you.
Be safe. Take care of her and take care of this cute little one.
All right. I guess we'll gather up whatever equipment Tana needs before heading out of town.
All right. And then they take off into the rising sun.
I left.
Or maybe away from the rising sun. I don't know what direction you're traveling.
Nor do I. Let's roll a die. See what happens. East.
East into the rising sun. Excellent. And on that note, I think we'll take a break. My announcement is that we have officially passed 1,000 followers here on Twitch, which is pretty amazing. Thank you very much, everybody. I'm so glad that you're with us and coming with us on this adventure. We got more for you. They're going to be going at that Gesh a little bit and trying to get some answers out of Saorisen. So we're going to go to break. Don't go away. And I believe during this break, Randy and I are going to show up, and we're going to talk about my book that's coming out next week.
Okay.
That's exciting.
In a totally self-indulgent pitch to get you to buy it. No, I'm just saying.
It's part of being an author. If you
We're
like
an
books,
author
you have
stream.
to
We gotta
listen to
promote
authors
ourselves.
say, "Please buy my book."
That's
and then you
right.
buy it, and you get to read it, and we all
That's
win.
great.
This
Anyway.
is the ecosystem, folks.
Come back in about 5 minutes. We're going to talk about my book, and then more adventuring will be happening about 5 minutes from there. So don't go away.
And welcome. We're going to be doing a quick interview of Eric Scott DeBee, author of the World of Ruins series, as soon as he pops back from break. So, and for those of you who don't know, Eric has written Forgotten Realms novels. He's written the Shadowbane series, which is kind of grim dark. It's set partially in Westgate. And so, which is kind of like, I think, the Forgotten Realms Gotham. So, and Shadowbane is kind of like the Forgotten Realms Batman in my mind. But hey, Eric, just filling a little time till you got back. And so I think, and he worked on the Neverwinter campaign and some other things. So I think World of Ruin kind of falls really in line with that. So for all you Forgotten Realms sort of fans of things like that, Joe Abercrombie, George R.R. Martin, those types of things. In fact, so now that you're back, I'll just we'll jump in.
Well, thank you for talking me up. I
Yeah.
apologize for being slightly late there. Yes, World of Ruin, apocalyptic fantasy series. It's definitely written in the same sort of thread and the same sort of spirit as my Forgotten Realms books. It's a little darker and a little more violent. My Realms books are sort of like a hard PG-13. These are more like a hard R. So more violence, more blood, more sex, all of that.
All the stuff that the Realms editors were like, nope, sorry.
Yeah, exactly. The stuff that Aaron wouldn't let me get away with. Anyway, yeah, I could see her video, but the rest of you can't. She's just like, whatever, man.
No, don't put words in my expression. That's not what that face
all
is.
right, fair enough. Anyway, yeah. So go ahead, Randy.
No, I was gonna say, I know you compared it like in the site to like Game of Thrones meets Fallout by way of Assassin's Creed, and
Right.
you know, Ed Greenwood read it and gave it some praise, so that says something there, I think. So how would you summarize, like, well, I guess other than it being apocalyptic, like, can you give us a little like you know, the tagline, or like, you know, in a world where, you know,
In a world ravaged by magic, where people only survived by digging deep underground in ancient tunnels and castles beneath the earth for hundreds of years, while the earth became livable once more, only to emerge into a world ravaged by irresponsible use of magic that has polluted the environment. And then folks struggle against the barbarian hordes of magic twisted people who emerged too early into the world and are thus tainted by the power that ravages this broken world. That is the World of Ruin. Scourge of the Broken World is book 4 of that series. It's the last one for now. I might eventually go back to the series, but it caps off this story in pretty climactic fashion. Yeah, the chat is asking. So yeah, it's like Fallout. Yeah, it's like Game of Thrones meets Fallout.
yeah, yeah, and it follows. Can you give the
Oh, there are several
character-
main characters, but the
yeah.
first main character who shows up is Regal Frostburn. He's a assassin or a shadow who serves a particular ruler. In this case, the Winter King, which is why the first book is called Shadow of the Winter King. And it's partly about him as a person, an aging assassin whose king perished many years ago and feels that he has no further purpose in the world. And one day, this old enemy and friend reaches out to him saying that I have this task for you to perform. If you will come with me to aid me in this task. And he has every reason to hate and fear this person until she says that their target is the one who was responsible for the death of the king and the princess so many years ago, the people he swore to protect. So what unfolds is this quest to find this person who ruined both of their lives and eke out some kind of vengeance within the broken world that they dwell within.
Speaking of vengeance, so you also have your Lady Vengeance series.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's a big
World of
theme
Ruin,
with me. Justice
yeah.
and vengeance.
Justice
and
and
the line
vengeance.
between.
Yeah, and then you have Westgate as a setting, which is kind of, so what draws you? Obviously, a lot of this there's these are the little sort of on the dark side, the shadowy
Really screwed
side
up
of
childhood.
fantasy.
No.
Yeah.
You know, I've always been really drawn to the theme of good versus evil, specifically in how it manifests in questions of justice. And a lot of it is the world that we live in is a fundamentally broken place in a lot of ways. There's so much injustice that surrounds us at all times, and I'm just trying to find the right ways to fix all of that. And so I think there's a major difference between justice and vengeance, and my work is largely exploring that.
Okay, well, timely and
I think so.
yeah, and useful.
I mean, I have been writing for nearly 20 years now.
Right.
And,
yeah.
that theme hasn't gone away. So
No, it hasn't. And yeah, but also, doing it in the coolest way possible, which I think is one of the good powers of fiction. And, is that, you're entertaining and you can explore these kinds of things in ways that don't turn people off the way like a screed would. Or what were some of your specific inspirations for like the World of Ruin series?
So this is going to sound extremely geeky of me, but this is a safe place for that kind of talk. It draws a lot of my on my love of early Final Fantasy games, because a lot of those, there is an actual Final Fantasy game in which there is a World of Ruin, and that is Final Fantasy VI or 3 if you played it on the Super Nintendo when it was first released back in the early 90s. Anyway, I digress. The point is, a lot of those games take place in a world, a setting that's kind of like broken, falling, polluted by magic and irresponsible governments and such. And that's the very same thing that I see in our world. I originally started writing the World of Ruin series during the Bush administration. And I was kind of offering a direct commentary on this is what happens when we pursue irresponsible policies and we don't focus on empathy and being good and just to each other. We will eventually screw up the world, and then this is the sort of thing that will happen. It's just people trying to do the right thing in difficult circumstances, and a lot of my fiction is in that vein.
So now that you've written, not necessarily forever the final book, but kind of closing this arc, the fourth book in this arc, you've written the series, and you kind of wrote more or less an arc with the Shadowbane stuff. What is about that series experience of writing a series that you found like satisfying, and what was the most like difficult, most surprising?
Well, the World of Ruin series gave me the opportunity to actually end a series, which is really awesome. Like my Shadowbane series doesn't actually come to an end. It comes to a pause point, point where things could end there, but probably shouldn't end there. Like it should go on, and there should be more story that comes out. And WotC knows how to contact me. They have my email address.
Right.
Whenever they decide to publish fiction again, I am your man, and I work cheap and fast. Anyway, but World of Ruin, it allowed me to capture a full arc and tell my full story. And things that I set up from the very beginning pay off at the very end. And I was pretty pleased with that experience. It felt very, very complete in a way that a lot of fiction hasn't so far in my career. Because publishing is hard, man. You write a book and you write a sequel, and then you're like, oh, I got so many ideas for more stuff. And then publishers are like, no, I don't think so. We're just gonna go with something else. And I mean, World of Ruin, I was fortunate enough to get the chance to tell a complete story, which I really liked. So
yeah. Was there any like things like you got to book 4 and you're like, I wish I'd done this differently in book 1 because now I can't, or I wish,
There's a character in book 2 that I really, really like, and who dies in book 2. And I kind of regret killing that person without carrying them forward to continue on with further books. But at the same time, I think I used that character very well, and I completed their story very well. So I don't feel too badly about it. I never felt like I had to go back and revise. I was pretty happy with how the story unfolded.
All right. And then I guess I'll just close with, looking back now over the series, or is there a particular or a couple of scenes that like stand out to you that like you keep going back to in your mind's eye, or like the biggest emotional beats for you? And
Well, let's see.
You know, the movie trailer
So
moments.
there are some moments in book 1 particularly where they're like one-on-one duels in these very cinematic excellent dueling places. Like if you were thinking of a duel from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon, or Hero, or a movie of that sort, it would not fit poorly into this aesthetic. My characters, like, I'm not really explicit in World of Ruin about like the ethnic heritage of my characters, but there are really no white people in World of Ruin. Like the city in the north is populated by what we would call people of Asian heritage, and the city in the south is more like people of kind of like darker complexion and maybe African heritage. And the white people are the ravening, crazy barbarians who emerged too early and were twisted by magic. So like there's a little bit of that wuxia feel without it being like that specific genre. And so some of those duels I just visualize very clearly in that way. There's a scene at the beginning of book 3 that I particularly like, which is this, it starts with this scout wandering through the snowy wasteland and basically freezing to death. And he comes upon this lonely campsite, and it turns out that he is there hunting the people who have made this camp, and they welcome him into the camp. And then it turns against him, but not, I don't want to spoil it, but not for anything that he does or that one of the people he's hunting does. It's just this great moment of human empathy versus simmering rage and resentment, and I really like how that unfolded. So it's
Very cool.
frequently the scene that I read at a bunch of conventions back when conventions happened. So
so the enemy is a bunch of raging Karens, is what I'm hearing.
well, yeah, and Chads, I suppose. There are a lot of those.
All right. Cool. Any closing thoughts before we jump back into the game about the
it's really dark. If you like dark fantasy, it's the way to go. And it's very mature. So if you have kids who are interested in reading it and you want to buy it for your kids, read it yourself first and make sure that you are okay with it, with your kid reading it, because like I said, it's very dark, it's very violent, it has a bunch of sexual content in it too. So yeah, always screen books for your kids. That's my parting thought.
Okay, all right. We can get back to it. Thank you, Eric.
And
Buy
we're
the
back.
book. Buy the book.
The magic happened.
Yeah.
Excellent. All right, we are back. We got everybody. Okay, so Adrian Corvetto has quit this place and said his goodbyes, leaving you as the sun is rising at Briar House. You're very tired. You haven't, taken a long rest, but enough time has elapsed that you can have a short rest if you want to grab some spell slots, use some hit dice to recover, that kind of thing. Saorisen, because it's relevant, has found his way out to the garden where he is sitting cross-legged looking at the roses, under which Stirge's brother is buried, but that's not why. Anyway, so what would you like to do?
I have something I'd like to give to Tsetseliya that was just recovered from the night masks. It is.
Give me my dad's old bandages.
No. You must think higher of me, really. This is a potion of mind reading. I suspect you have a use for it. There you are.
Do you think I should read Sarshan's mind?
I don't want to read it, but I thought you might.
So I think on the one hand, it feels like this seems like a huge violation of privacy, but it might be a good
I think he would welcome it.
Test
myself.
the gauge. I don't know. I feel like people should have a little privacy. That's all.
But don't you think he's rather forced to have privacy that he would rather not have?
Yeah, I guess so. I don't. Stirge, I think this is really bad.
I'm terrified. I think you should use it.
Tsetseliya.
Yeah.
Stong also pulls out like a little vial potion. And he says, Stirge gave this to me the other week, and it's also a potion of mind reading. So we actually have 2 doses. Would him reading your mind make it feel like it's less of a violation if it's 2-way? Or you could bring somebody else in with you, maybe.
I could cast detect thoughts, and we could have a 3-way.
We could go. Are we not doing
A
phrasing?
mental 3-way.
Yes, meant, of course. I mean, I'm clearly not capable of anything else.
Okay.
You figure out what you want to do with this. And so Stong's gonna give it to you.
Before we jump into this, we should think about Briarhouse, because Artemisia isn't saying not do this, but she does have the ritual to cast. And we
Which ritual are you casting?
from the rune book. There's a
okay.
warding ritual.
There is a warding ritual in the rune book, which will require 3 casters.
We're all casters.
Nice thing. Okay.
I mean, if Tsetseliya can't wait, Artemisia
I feel like
expects
Tsetseliya can't wait, but she's
Okay.
also aware of the sort of primacy of our house is clearly magically Swiss cheese for night mask assassins, and nothing ruins sorting through your boyfriend's tortured thoughts quite like being surprised by another night mask ambush.
Like being stabbed in the kidney. By
Yes.
Yeah,
Does
really.
the book say how long it will take? Like the
about an
recipe prep
hour
time?
or so, you think?
Okay,
Maybe
an
we
hour.
could-
I mean,
Maybe we could we could start. Maybe we could try this first, and then I could try this. And if someone can come with me, I would really appreciate it. Or I don't know. We should ask Saorisen. But if 3 of us can do the ritual and then somebody can come with me, that might be ideal. Is Ruin around? Can Ruin do it?
I know. I'm worried about Ruin. Where
You
is
haven't
Ruin?
seen Ruin.
And I'm also internally I'm really struggling with that temptation to ask for one of those so I can read Ruin's mind. But
Just
and I'm
pocket it and be like, oh, I left it in the other room. I'll go get it.
but yeah, I'm also I had that bout of where I struggled with jealousy with Ruin, and when he was wrestling with Saorisen that time and stuff, and I'm am I really want to get behind his brain, or am I wanting to look through his texts? Am I am I doing this for the right reasons? I don't know. So I'm holding back. I'm but no, be good.
Okay,
Well,
I just want to
it's-
point out that the chat has done bling bling for Stirge. Thank you, Draco.
Yes. Thank you.
147. And Stirge, what happened is when you were holding out the potion vial, you realized that it's very valuable, this potion vial. It feels very heavy in your hand, and you realize it's made of solid gold.
Whoa.
I'll be needing the bottle back when you're ready. I just.
Okay.
For the recycling program.
Recycling program. Okay. So does Stong, do you want to come try this, or Stirge, do you want to use your detect thoughts and we save a potion?
well, and Artemisia isn't gonna let Tsetseliya do this on her own, so she'll put the.
I do feel like this is gonna. I mean, I don't know. We thought that the restoration might fix it. It didn't, and so part of me thinks, let's try this, but we might need more ideas.
Rogar's going to stand by just in case this triggers. So if he goes into seizures or something like that, Rogar can
shoot,
cast
yes.
cast healing. So
Can we? Okay. How about this? So Bo now knows the trap they used. Can we just kind of amp Bo up first? Bo being the house ghost. the ghost of our former manservant who was murdered.
Don't worry, Artemisia. I won't let anything happen to you.
Okay. Well, so Bo says we're okay. So,
Bo says you're okay.
Oh, hey.
knows.
Also, I found this for you, and he hands you this pouch of gold dust.
oh, thank you.
Or rather, he indicates it since he can't actually touch physical things easily. Says, I left it on the table.
Well, Artemisia.
Because someone gave you bling bling.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Artemisia is talking to the air, and then she goes and gets something from the table and just
The pouch.
So I was gonna lean over to Stirge and be like, I really hope there's actually a ghost. And I didn't think I'd say that. But otherwise she's losing it. And I don't know, we should keep an eye on it.
Yeah, I will.
All right, so we go out into the garden.
I like how no one asked where the pouch of gold dust came from. Anyway, yeah, you
I
go
don't think any of us knew about the dust. Artemisia's just like, oh, thanks, Bo. And then she just walks over to a table, and we're all like, okay. Reading
Came from a
magazines, I
smirking
guess.
person.
So Artemisia figures it was from the basement that Roomba'd up somehow, and then Bo collected it. I mean,
that seems like a reasonable assumption. I'm not saying it's
So-
accurate.
Tsetseliya,
Yeah.
who would you like to give this other dose to?
Okay, first of all, I think we need to make sure that Saorisen is okay with this, because I do not like the idea of people sorting in my thoughts, and this is an extenuating circumstance, but let's ask him.
All right, so he's sitting out in the garden.
Okay.
It does seem like not Rogar, because if he does go into convulsions, Rogar's the one that casts the healing magic.
Yeah.
So you can't be busy looking around, snooping in his thoughts.
Right.
Go
Exactly.
pretend that's not what you're going to do. If you have to be ready for that.
Right. I might, whenever I don't want to interrupt the flow. So before or after the Saorisen thing, I was gonna ask Stirge too to if he could try and message Ruin, because I'm just worried.
Stong has sending,
Right.
so that will go farther.
Oh, I'll ask Stong if he can send to Ruin because I'm very worried about him at this point.
Well, I could stay out and then help you look for Ruan if Stirge and Artemisia want to go into the help with detect thoughts.
And you have healing too, so it might, if we need to
Yeah,
heal.
I don't know if I'm in a shape to look at other people's problems right now.
You did have a big
little
day
sad.
today.
Yeah.
Well, that'll be a good chance if there's anything you want to talk about, Stong, or if you need to unburden it all, I'm here to listen.
Maybe just a little bit of time to think. That's all.
Okay.
All
right.
So Tsetseliya is going to make a beeline for the garden
Okay.
and
Stirge.
stop short of Saorisen because she is
Yep.
genuinely freaking out. She's going to take a moment, and then she's going to sit down next to him and be like, are you doing okay?
Yes. I mean, it depends on what you mean by that exactly.
That's fair.
I really feel like I've ruined everything.
No, I don't.
So
no.
in that sense, no, I'm not doing okay.
Okay. So we've got some ideas because it seems like I'm sorry, I forgot about the Geish. I forgot that you were dealing with this, and I just didn't even think about what it might be like, what you might be trying to avoid, and it's clearly gotten all of us in the middle of something really scary. So we've got some ideas, but the first thing we want to try is using a spell to look at your thoughts.
All right. Wait, you can do that?
Yeah, apparently Stirge can do it. I try not to think about the fact that he can do it because it makes me extremely uncomfortable.
Huh. I don't know what will happen, but yes, by all means, try it.
Okay, I've
The
got
way-
this.
Yes, I think we should start with you drinking that. And
Me
And
drinking that? Sarshan says.
That works. That will be the opposite. Then you will be able to read my thoughts, which isn't
Oh.
helpful for this.
No, that wouldn't be helpful for this.
Is that okay?
What you do then is you simply ask the questions that you wish to hear the answers to, and if he thinks the answers rather than speak the answers, perhaps you will be able to see them.
Okay.
And if it doesn't work, we'll have to try something else.
Okay. I only have one condition.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever you see, don't be too angry, I suppose. Well, you can be angry, just don't take it personally.
Oh, I'm sure that will be effortless.
That's a great opening.
That bodes well.
I don't know what you're gonna see, and honestly, if you're angry or you hate me, it's not going to change how much I love you. So, my love is not fragile.
Gonna put
Is
her
what I'm
hand
saying.
on his knee and say, "I'm not going anywhere."
Okay, I agree then.
Although she's
Read my mind.
100% freaking out. Okay. All right. So Tsetseliya drinks the mind reading potion.
Okay. Stirge, are you also doing detect thoughts?
Yes.
Okay. So you activate your powers at the same time, or rather Stirge casts his spell. Tsetseliya, you drink the potion. You're not really sure what this is supposed to feel like because you've never really cast this kind of spell magic before.
This feels way too much like Lazara's game.
Yeah.
So
You're
she's,
pretty sure Lazar has done this many times.
yeah.
But like you're just staring at Sarshan and he's like, "Is it working?" And you're not really sure. But then
sure.
like things start feeling permeable,
Ooh, that's weird.
and then you see just a dozen Sarshans sitting there, all looking at you, going, "Is it working?" At the
Okay.
same time.
Stirge, if you poison me, I swear to God.
Now it's pretty cool, isn't it? Yeah, like
So, Sarshan's mind is a jumbled mess of fractured images. It's all of them moving on top of each other, all of them with the same importance and level. There's no sense of any of them being false, like they don't seem like lies or deceptions to you. As you're looking, the two of you, like Stirge and Tsetseliya, you're basically standing next to each other, looking at this collection of images just swirling around you, and it focuses on one in particular. You see an image of Tsetseliya demanding Stirge hand over the shard. "I know you have it, Stirge. Give it to me. I have to give it to Shiny so he can keep it safe." And Adrian is standing right there and he says, What shard are we talking about?" And you're standing next to like a secret compartment inside Mirren's bedroom.
Didn't happen.
And you say, "Look, you can't protect it. I know you will do something with it because I know you, Stirge, but Shiny can protect it." And Sarshan,
Sound like that?
who you're seeing this from his perspective, says, "Oh yeah, I think that's a good idea. I think this Lord Shiny can protect it. You said he worshipped here, the Lord of Sorrows," and then the vision kind of fades away. And you're surrounded by mist.
That didn't happen.
Your
Your spell's busted.
No. I see many possibilities. Sometimes I see things that haven't happened yet, but I can tweak them so they do. Other times I let them be. It's just like that. There are many possibilities around us at all times. This didn't necessarily have to have happened. It's just a possibility, possibly, or an alternative us.
Would you like to push deeper?
I want to ask Sarshan a question.
Yeah. Okay.
How did you know about the Night King's plans?
I couldn't say.
But
Did I
you
see
can
anything when
think-
that happens?
All right.
Okay.
I'm gonna need you to Oh, actually, you asked specifically, so it kind of sparks up a thought. All right, so you suddenly see this image of Sarshan kneeling before the Night Mask stash house, which is on fire and burning down into timbers, cradling a dead Tsetseliya in his arms. And a shadow falls across him, and you hear a voice which sounds vaguely familiar to you, like you might have heard it sometime in the past, saying, "What have you done, Revenant? What have you done to my daughter?" And then Sarshan shakes his head and he says, I failed her, but it isn't over. Not yet. And she says, "Did I not tell you, Revenant? Did I not tell you this would happen if you stayed with her?" And he says, just tell me what happened. Just tell me what went wrong." And then the vision kind of fades again.
Okay, I know that didn't happen. I know he didn't make that up. What?
It didn't quite answer the question, though.
Wait, I
Sarshan
have
is
a.
kind of like,
But I think we hit the gauge.
Hmm.
Here's a question. What did go wrong? She said you asked her what went wrong. What went wrong?
I couldn't say.
So if I can push a little deeper the way,
Yep.
and just say, "Sarshan, let me in. Just relax."
Okay,
He's
Sarshan
gonna grab him in the
voluntarily,
dreamscape. Be like, "If you break him, I swear to God, it's Stirge."
Sarshan voluntarily fails the saving throw. Stirge, roll a d12, please.
Okay. Hopefully it's psychic damage because I have resistance. 5.
5. Okay. You see a different vision. Another impossible moment. As the sun sets, Sarshan is sitting alone in a grove filled with snow, heaving and sobbing. This grove looks very familiar to you, Tsetseliya. Like a grove that you might have been to at some point.
Oh, I
in
can
your
see this
past.
too. I
Yeah,
followed
you can both
Stirge.
see this. Yeah.
Like you're not going
Stirge
alone.
dragged you through Sarshan's mind.
Okay.
He's looking down and he's saying, I can't go back. I can't. And then a glowing emerald butterfly flutters around him until it finally lands in the palm of someone standing in the grove with him. At first, Sarshan looks up and says, and his heart is filled with hope. But the shadow covers the emerald butterfly with the other hand, blotting out the light, and he sees it isn't Tsetseliya. And he knows despair anew. "I'm surprised, Revenant," the woman says. "It's not like you to abandon your quest." And Sarshan says, I can't do it no matter what I do, no matter how many times. He winces as though expecting the gesh to strike, but it doesn't. He looks up at her. "Why?" The woman, and you see her face clearly for the first time, and she is an elf woman with long silvery hair, dark eyes. "Why?" She smiles wanly, then she spreads her hands over her head, and the one butterfly turns to 100 green butterflies that diffuse into the air like motes of light. "It is the curse I placed upon you. Surely you didn't think it applied to me as well." Sarshan rises, and he's clutching his pack blade, which burns with flames. And the woman says, "You wish to fight me, is that it? Or do you wish to bow to me, that I might listen to your cruel fate, Revenant? That I might grant you some hope?" And he says, "Yes." And she smiles and very well. She summons her own packed weapon, a spear of emerald power that spins into existence in her hands. "I shall grant you what you seek." And they come together, weapons flashing. Sarshan is no match for her, and she leaves him sizzling and dying in the grass.
I don't want to watch this.
As she starts walking away, Sarshan whispers, "Thank you.
Oh my God.
I'll save you too." And the last thing he sees is her confused frown. Then the vision fades.
Okay.
And you're again surrounded by this jumble of images.
Okay, so a couple things I think we're figuring out. Stirge, that's my mom.
Hmm. I see
I
the
wasn't
resemblance.
sure, and then
Stirge, I see the resemblance.
Ooh. Okay. Yeah,
That still doesn't make. We still have no idea how he knew about the night masks.
no, and there was a time I thought for sure that was who put the geish on him, but then this is all a lot weirder. So I can't tell if she's the one that cursed him.
When you say curse, do you mean geish? And
Yeah,
does geish
that's
mean-
because I mean this isn't acting like a geish, is it? It's not gone. I don't remember a lot about what she was capable of, but Lazar was terrified of her. Lazar is terrified of her. So if somebody can do something like this to somebody, that tracks. But that doesn't explain the night masks. And it doesn't.
What does it explain?
It sounds like like she's making him do all this over and over again? Like he dies and he has to do it again? Do you think that's possible? I've never heard of anything like that.
Dies and does what over again?
That's
Would
a
you like
wonderful
to-
question.
Would you like to push further and see
Yes.
more?
We need to know what he's trying to do over.
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't
Why
know if I want to do this.
Why
I
don't
think Stirge is
you-
already going. It's like,
One of you roll
okay.
it. Stirge, roll a d12.
Interesting.
Inception.
Are there 12 memories we
There
might?
are, in fact.
Oh,
Okay.
interesting.
One.
You rolled a 1.
Yep.
Good.
It's the
Okay.
best memory.
So, the red mist parts. Sarshan appears at Dark Dance Manor, stepping out of a swirl of power. The irregulars are there. You see Tsetseliya. You see a silver wolf beside Tsetseliya. And Sarshan immediately summons his pack blade and attacks the silver wolf, shouting, "You won't harm her! I won't let you!" The irregulars don't seem to recognize him, and they attack and incapacitate him, as you would, right? If you're just an enemy appeared and started attacking. He tries to explain to Tsetseliya about his curse, and then his mind is just overcome with this flashing emerald energy, and he perishes from the psychic damage. It was a very brief, fleeting moment.
I think that actually wasn't that how we met him?
No.
Well, he showed up.
He
but-
showed up and it was just Tsetseliya and Kalith and Mirren
Right.
and Jigglewolf, who turned out to be Ron.
Okay.
Stirge, I don't know how much of this I can do.
One more. Try one more. We're gonna push a little deeper. I want to find out if there's a pattern to these things that keep, like, this is number 8. That keep either leaving him dead or almost dead.
He seems like he's like that one. He was attacking Ruan.
You rolled an 8?
Yeah.
Sarshan and Shadowbane burst out a high window, struggling and fighting in the air, and tumbled down toward the cobblestones. Sarshan manages to teleport away. Shadowbane kicks off a wall, flies across the alley they were falling into, and tackles him as he appears on the next rooftop. Sarshan parries aside his
Very
reaving
cinematic.
axe, which Shadowbane slashes across with remarkable speed. "You'll pay for what you did to Lady Dovitskaya," Shadowbane says. And Sarshan grins, blood between his teeth. "I'm sure I will, Knight of Justice. You're every bit as stubborn as she is. Or maybe hap it's the other way around. Your tongue is awkward. I can never get the hang of it." They keep fighting they keep fighting, axes whirling, swords flashing, and Shadowbane finally asks, "What were you trying to accomplish? Why are you doing this?" Sarshan smiles, his expression bittersweet. "I couldn't say." And then the vision falters apart.
Okay.
I want to get into that and find out what it is he can't say. What?
Can I pull out of this?
Yeah?
Can Sarshan hear us when we're this far in?
No.
Okay.
You don't think so?
I think Tsetseliya is like not does not want to keep going. This just gets worse and worse. She will yank herself out of it
Okay.
as much as she can. She can see like real Sarshin.
All right. Yeah,
Should-
you find yourself sitting in the garden next to Sarshin, and he looks troubled but not in pain.
From the outside, were they just like blank? Because Artemisia's
Raiders.
watching. Hey, Raiders.
Oh, Raiders just showed up, so I think that means
That's weird.
Getting-
Getting weird, Raiders.
I think somebody's getting advantage on their next roll. So, okay. So when you reappear next to Sarshin,
Mhm.
his eyes open and he looks at you, Tsetseliya, and he says, "What's wrong?
When did this start? Can you tell me
What-
that?
What do you mean?
When did this start happening?
When did what start happening? You going into my mind? Are you seeing something interesting?"
Something's making you live things through again. Is that true?
I couldn't say.
Even if I figure it out, you can't say?
I made you a promise.
Yep. Okay.
And he clutches
Here.
your hands and he says, "Please don't stop if it's helping."
I don't think it's helping. I think it's just I don't
But you already said more to me than you already understand more than you have ever.
Sarshin, I
I
can't
couldn't
watch
say.
you keep dying. Here's the question. When you came to Westgate, was this already happening?
I couldn't say.
So am I still listening?
Yeah,
to-
Stirge, you're still there in
that doing stuff?
his memories. Would you
So-
like to push deeper?
I want to get an answer to that question.
All right, roll 2d12 and let me know what your two results are.
Thank you, Raiders. 7 and 3. 2 new ones.
Okay. Yeah, those are both new. So you are going to see both of those.
Seeing you're a divination wizard and your brain won't crack.
Yeah.
I know.
All right. First is 3. Sarshin and Tsetseliya are headed through the cobblestone roads, and Sarshin's saying, "I'm not sure this is really such a good idea." And Tsetseliya says, "No, this is definitely what we're going to do. He shouldn't be there. We're going to break him out tonight." And Sarshin says, "I'm not sure." And then they teleport into Stong's prison cell where he's being held by the Eye of Justice. But rather than just the Stong they expect, he is perched over the bench, and he's kind of down on one knee, kneeling, and there are these massive horns growing from his forehead. And floating above the bench is an extremely tall, devilish woman of surpassing beauty and command, who is clearly in charge of all she surveys, including Stong, definitely. And she says, "New toys to break. Destroy them, my pet." And Stong goes, "Yes, my lady." And he turns on Tsetseliya and Sarshin falls in battle defending Tsetseliya. So that was 3.
Okay.
7, you find yourself on the sands of the arena in the battle with the Twilight Knight. Without waiting, Sarshin charges forward to smite the vampire with a sword, only for the knight to disarm him with an easy stroke and then break him in half over his knee.
I'm glad Tsetseliya doesn't watch that.
As Sarshin lies there, unable to move, he watches the Twilight first kill Tsetseliya, then each of the irregulars one by one. As his life slips away, Sarshin desperately reaches towards Tsetseliya's hand, and then everything goes black.
How did he kill Stirge?
Sarshin
Very
didn't really.
interesting story. Where's the part about me?
Sarshin didn't really see. His vision was mostly clouded at that point, and he was only looking at Tsetseliya.
I bet Stirge got away.
Maybe Stirge was in on it.
Plausible.
You don't know.
Plausible. Sturge's like, no, I'm out. I'm going to Waterdeep. I'm done with this.
So we keep seeing either Tsetseliya or Saorisen, or both die. Sometimes Saorisen kills Tsetseliya. Other times he dies defending Tsetseliya.
You haven't seen Saorisen kill Tsetseliya.
Well, no, but we heard Kalen say he had just killed.
He said what you did.
No, he said Miss Doviskaya.
Yeah, he said,
yeah,
what did you
did?
What
to
you
Lady
did. He
Doviskaya.
didn't say what that was exactly.
Well, it wasn't a good thing, presumably.
Probably.
That's fair. Although, I feel like Shadowbane's boundaries for what is a good thing are a little tighter than other people's.
Okay.
You insulted her scarf. Ah!
So
Okay.
it's like, I'm just
You gonna press deeper, Stirge?
Heck yeah, I'm gonna.
Okay,
All right.
wait. I feel like we're not getting information about the thing we need information on. So Tsetseliya is gonna want to try something different.
Okay.
So Stirge has already started doing this. That's fine, but then I want to try a different track.
Okay.
Well,
So let's do what Tsetseliya's doing first.
okay.
What are you doing first?
So Saorisen can't talk about it. So everybody else in the garden are doing the ritual.
I mean, Artemisia's here.
Okay.
Artemisia is there providing moral support
Yeah, and I just
and
I
waiting
wanted
to see if you need something else, I guess.
Rogar's on standby
that
for
she's
you.
wearing the butterfly necklace. That
Oh,
she
okay.
made.
She's wearing the butterfly necklace, which
It's not
looks
real emeralds,
exactly like that emerald butterfly you saw in that one vision.
Can you do me a favor and just take that off for a second, please? I will tell you why in a minute.
Okay.
But it's freaking me
She
out.
tries to give it to Tsetseliya.
Nope, don't want to touch it. Nope. Did you buy that? Did you buy that or make that?
No, I made it because of the butterfly. It was an inspiration.
Oh my god. Okay. I was right. This is so much worse. But pressing issue. So Saorisen can't talk about anything to do with the Geish, as far as I can tell. What Stirge and I saw is basically he keeps dying.
From the Gesh? That's
I guess it seems like he tries to fix things and then he dies and then he starts over.
oh.
I don't know. I mean, did you ever learn any kind of magic like that?
Shall I roll? I assume she didn't, but in case I roll like really, really well.
Yeah, go ahead and make an Arcana check.
Okay. That is 18.
You've never heard of any magic like that. Starting over, you kind of like your brain clings to that. It sounds like chronomancy, but that, as far as you know, is just theoretical. Like, you're pretty sure no mage has ever cast a chronomancy spell in thousands of years.
Oh my god.
There's this far off land named Wildemount.
Well, there was a goddess in Netheril called Mistral who forbid people from casting such magic.
It's like it just makes the plot confusing. Okay, so Tsetseliya's
Mistral
going
knew
to.
her shit, right?
Tsetseliya's going to run down. the things-
Apparently, Tsetseliya, you have got inspiration if you haven't used it already.
The Tsetseliya's going to run down on the things she saw, but the last thing she's going to point out is that I think our mom cursed him, and that green butterfly that was in there, like, that's, I guess, her thing now. Green butterflies. She's
Also,
So
it seems Stirge, you have got inspiration too.
Oh,
she's
excellent.
scary
Thank you.
strong.
Thank you.
So she's here, or she's in?
I saw
His-
two things in his visions. One was that night mask hideout thing that went bad. I died, and then Mom showed up and was ready to gut him. And then one where he was in, I think he was in Rashomon, honestly. And she showed up and she gutted him. It was not nice. But here's the thing, none of those tell us about the night masks or why he knew about the Night King. I think maybe that shard was, if this is true, all of this sounds completely insane. I want to be clear that I know that I'm not crazy. I know this sounds nuts. But if he's doing things over, I think one of those times Stirge had the shard and the night masks got it because I gave it to Shiny. because I took it from Stirge and I gave it to Shiny.
So
And that's not this time, so hopefully it's different.
Why do you think that?
That was the whole thing with like I was yelling at you and going, "Give me that shard. I'm gonna give it to Shiny. It's safer." And Sarshan's like, "That sounds like a great idea," but clearly something happened and he died. So I feel like it wasn't a great idea.
but
Wait,
did
wait, wait,
Sarshan
wait,
say
wait.
it was a good idea this time too?
Sarshan was not with us when we made that call.
That's true.
We just did that on our own.
But that was one of the visions we had in which no one dies at the end of it.
That is a fair point. Nobody died. Also, thank you for returning to us, Stirge.
Well, you
Oh, Stirge.
Busy yelling
You
at
get tired. You get tired of watching my lover get splattered.
he doesn't get splattered in every case.
Stirge, did you go deeper into another vision?
Of course.
Okay, roll d12, please.
Pretty
Have
soon.
you-
it's gonna be
Have you
hard
rolled a duplicate
Oh,
yet?
and you have it inspiration, so you can roll 2 d12s.
to- Ooh, I got 2. I haven't got that one before.
You rolled a 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Very similar to a vision that you saw before. Sarshan appears at Dark Dance Manor, stepping out of a swirl of red mist, and immediately rushes to grasp Tsetseliya's hands in his. He shouts, "Come with me! You have to come with me! We have to leave right now!" She looks at him, her eyes entirely void of recognition, which immediately turns to suspicion. "Who are you?" she says. Sarshan grows frantic, shouting at Tsetseliya and demanding she come with him. She reaches toward his face, spreading her hand wide, and blasts him with an Eldritch Blast point blank in the forehead, and he tumbles over backward.
Best range for Eldritch Blast, right in the face.
He lands on it. He tumbles up to his feet, snarling, and a flaming sword appears in his hand. It seems as though he'll attack, but a ray of green light appears from the shadow and strikes him in the shoulder. As he burns away into ash and dust, Mirren appears, levitating down towards Tsetseliya, saying, "Are you all right?" That's the end of that memory.
Yeah, you see,
What was the other result you got?
12. Haven't got that yet.
12.
You're
Have you
doing a
rolled
good job of
Yeah.
not
Have you
getting
rolled
Dude.
dupes.
duplicates yet?
Once earlier.
Oh wow.
No, I haven't registered any duplicates.
Well,
Amazing.
Sarshan wakes up on green grass and immediately runs out of the bedroom to recover the shard. Tsetseliya steps out of the bed into a dead mouse, immediately assumes that it might be her summoned fae that has just been doing things.
No, I believe I believe I figured it out, didn't I?
Okay. Well,
Sorry.
not.
I guess not this time.
Not
This
that
time.
During the
Fair.
raid, later on that day, during the raid, Sarshan says, "I'm going to keep watch," and the Irregulars go to raid the Night Mask stash house, but instead he turns into a wolf and immediately runs out of Westgate onto the path to the west, where you see a knight astride a horse. It appears to be Adrian Corvetto, of all people. And Sarshan sets up a roadblock. He basically detonates a bridge, delaying Shiny's arrival by at least a day. And then he rushes back to Westgate in time to catch everyone as they leave the stash house. Tsetseliya says, "Where were you? What are you doing? Why didn't you come help?" And he says, I couldn't say. And he pulls the shard out of his pouch and he hands it to her and says, "Please, just don't let anyone have it. Just keep it away from all of them." Which more or less matches up with what you remember happening. Like, you remember that interaction between Tsetseliya and Sarshan.
okay.
And you were like, "Why does he have my shard?"
Okay, I'm piecing it together that they didn't trust me with it, so they.
I drank all my bourbon.
Detective
Listen,
Stirge.
if we were going to take a vote of who was most likely to turn to the dark side for absolute power, I'm sorry, Stirge, you're high on the list. Stong beat you out because he actually did it. But up until that point, we all thought it was going to be you. I guess Kalis too.
Yeah.
All right, you're third.
Kalis, pretty
So
Not
now
as
that,
half
you
the
have
party.
now that you have a handle on it, Stirge,
Yes.
do you want to see the rest of the memories? Because I'll just read them to you.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
4. You're in Briarhouse. Saorisen watches as Tsetseliya tries to talk sense into Artemisia, whose golden ring is shining particularly bright. Tsetseliya keeps glaring past her at Lilton, who is also there. And Artemisia finally gets furious. Look at me. You never look at me. Lightning arcs out of her like a halo of power, and Lilton's smile kind of dips a little bit. A storm of lightning suddenly explodes out of Artemisia, leveling Briarhouse all around you. Saorisen comes to his senses finally and sees Artemisia flying above them, borne aloft on more than one set of metallic wings. She glitters, and Saorisen thinks at first she's wearing armor or bronze scales, but that can't be right. She barely looks like herself. She's more like a half of a dragon. She cries out in anger, a sound halfway between a scream and a roar, and beats her mighty wings, sending her surging up into the sky. Saorisen, incredibly battered and beat up, hears a wheezing sound and finds a very pale Tsetseliya, just in time to hear her starting to wheeze out and come to a death rattle. He starts casting a healing spell, but someone counterspells his healing spell. He sees Lilton standing among the wreckage, smirking at them.
F that guy.
Believe it or not, Lilton says, this isn't how I planned this, and I can't have you trying to salvage it. Out of his mind with rage, Saorisen rushes toward Lilton, weapon drawn, and I think we all know how that ends up. Okay. 6. Saorisen and Tsetseliya are in bed together, and she wakes up from a nightmare. He's very supportive, and they have a cute, sweet interaction where he's just whispering soothing
Close your eyes,
words to
it's not your
her.
business.
He says, "I'll get up to fix you some of that tea to help you sleep." And she agrees. As he's heading over to do so, he abruptly freezes in place. When she asks him what's wrong, he starts moving in a twisting, awkward manner, his limbs bent backward as he starts walking toward her backwards. His head turns almost entirely around, and when he speaks to her again, it's Lazar's voice.
Oh.
He says, so this is the one, is it? Saorisen attacks Tsetseliya, scrabbling at her with his bare hands, and she has to use her magic to fight him off. You get the sense that she's not quite able to just kill him with magic. Before she can call for Rogar, he starts choking her so that no words come out. Lazar seems to be only allowing Saorisen to use his voice. He's completely owning Sargent's body. And Saorisen takes the only option available to him. He says, Tsetseliya, I can... and then the gesh hits him and overloads his brain. And then he slumps to the ground and he says, I will stop him next. And then he triggers the gesh again and the world goes black.
And I didn't watch that one.
Okay. Nope, there are 2 more. 9. Wait, Saorisen cries out as Tsetseliya stands before the woven trees that form the portal leading to the Feywild. You can't. And Tsetseliya whirls on him. And why not? What's keeping me here? You? And Saorisen says, but I love you. And Tsetseliya says, what? And Saorisen says, I love you. I love you. And Tsetseliya considers him for a moment and then says, No, I don't believe you. And Saorisen says, damn it, how do I convince you that I do? And Tsetseliya says, that's just it. You shouldn't have to convince me. And then she misty steps out of his grasp and walks through the portal. He tries to pull her back, but he can't reach her. He falls to his knees and hangs his head. Time passes and rime frost creeps out among the trees, eventually covering Saorisen, who still doesn't move. When the portal opens again, the figure that emerges from the Feywild looks like Tsetseliya, but it is not Tsetseliya. Okay, 10. Battle unfolds on the airships over Westgate. Sarshan uses his Hexblade curse on Stong, allowing him to follow him easily through the air. He and Tsetseliya fly over to attack Stong as he's squashing a dragon's head against his wall of force. But Stong is far stronger than either of them anticipated. They finally manage to defeat him and are standing there panting together, propped up on this wall of force. And they reach toward each other and embrace, but a bolt of green light flashes through Tsetseliya and into Sarshan, blowing a hole through his stomach and causing her to start disintegrating. The Alhoon floats toward Sarshan as he holds the disintegrating Tsetseliya. Sarshan glares at the Alhoon, and then the Alhoon disintegrates Stong's wall of force, plunging all three of them toward Westgate below. So that seems to be all the memories that are swirling around you, Stirge. But you see that there is a focal point if you want to go all the way down.
I need something to make sense.
Oh, we've gone this far. Let's just go back.
You're not sure you can make it all on your own.
Okay, I'm gonna reach my hand. I'm gonna concentrate on my actual body and reach my hand around looking for Tsetseliya.
Okay, Tsetseliya, you feel Sturge's mage hand touching you on the shoulder.
Yeah, and then it goes like this. It goes tap, tap, tap. This look.
Stirge, I told you I don't want to do this.
It's gonna tap a little more insistently. Tap, 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 tap. This.
Do we have the second
go
potion?
in.
Because Artemisia, like,
Yep.
Stong has it. Stong's around.
Yeah, I've just been standing here this whole time.
I thought you went off to be sad about Mirabelle.
I was sad over in the corner. I was quiet because I was
So the
sad.
part where I was trying to like figure out a way to not have to delve into the dark depths of watching my boyfriend get killed over and over again. I guess I'm going with Stirge.
because I mean, if we do have the other potion, Artemisia would be like, clearly this is a great burden on you, and if he needs somebody else, then I'm willing to do it.
Will you come with me?
Of course.
All right, let's go in there and see what the heck this is.
So she's gonna have to drink Stong's thing.
Here you
Artemisia
go.
will drink its tongues. Thank you.
Okay, Sturge, both the sisters appear. And you
Right.
are surrounded by
this
the
over with.
swirling, broken storm of images.
Okay, I've
But
got.
Sturge has waded through and found a path.
I see there's something in the middle of this that will hopefully make sense of this, because right now, brain damage, can't quite put this together.
Are you always going to use that excuse? Anyway,
To be fair, this is real fucky.
Yeah. All right, this way. It's gonna
Okay.
push through the threads.
you going to follow him?
Fog.
Yeah,
We go down hand in hand.
seems to be what we're doing.
I mean,
Yeah,
Sturge only has the
Artemisia
one
is just
hand.
like, what is even happening right now? I don't
Don't look too
understand.
closely at anything. It's all very upsetting.
Looking at a bizarre range of possibilities, and maybe these happened, maybe they didn't, maybe they might have happened if something had gone different. I have no idea. We're gonna find out right now. Right up there. See that light, that's where we're going.
All right. Here it is. The world blurs, and you feel an intense heat upon every stretch of your body. The city of Westgate is burning, but not with flames as you would recognize them. The fires are purple, the sky black, the world unbearably empty. Sarshan stands against many foes, cloaked in shadow. He holds his fiery sword in one hand and Tsetseliya's bone rod in the other. He looks weary and beaten down, covered in bruises and cuts and layers of blood. He heaves, sucking in furious breaths and expelling a series of angry growls. Then a golden light shines around him, holding the lurking creatures at bay. A feminine form descends on golden wings, her face and figure hidden in the brightness. "And still you oppose me," says a strangely familiar voice, like silk drawn across bone. "You know you cannot win. The heart of the piercing could not defeat me. The spear witch could not defeat me. and neither could her mighty daughters. What are you to them? Why do you persevere? Sarshan looks up at her, defiant. Because I made a promise, and I will never stop whatever it takes. Indeed. The golden wings spread wide, and the woman reaches out to touch Sarshan's bloody face, surprisingly gently. Then let us make a pact, you and I. The memory fades just as Sarshan is about to see her face. All you can make out is that she's smiling with hope and sadness.
Just a question. So, familiarish voice. Is that Caliph?
You're not certain.
I feel like I know Caliph's voice.
It didn't sound quite like Kayla's voice, no.
Okay.
Can Stirge
Man.
pluck a feather with his
Oh my God, Stephen, if you had saved your 20.
I did save the inspiration.
Okay,
See what happens.
make a d20 roll. Go ahead and use your inspiration.
Yeah.
Ooh.
18 and 17.
Okay, what does that get you with an Arcana check?
Oh, that would be 24.
Okay. So the memory fades and you find yourselves in the garden once more.
Do I have a feather in my fingers?
You do have a golden feather in your fingers.
Woohoo!
Got it.
Nice.
And now we have another puzzle. Okay. Tsetseliya is going to kneel down next to Sarshan. She's going to say, okay, are you all right?
Yes, I feel peaceful. That
Okay.
look on your face, you saw her.
Yeah, what's that about? Or can you not say?
Wait. I'm going to cast Detect Thoughts again.
Okay.
I want you to ask him. Now whisper into Tsetseliya's ear.
Huge twist. Kayla's been here all
Ask her.
along.
Ask him if that was Caliph. And then I'm
Was that Caliph?
Kayla serves her.
What?
Oh.
Not now.
Is it
In a different time.
I couldn't
but
say.
you can
Okay.
think, but you can
Here's
think it. You can think it.
Okay. Sarshan, listen to me.
Yeah.
Why are you talking weird? Are you really okay?
Yes.
Is he actually
think so.
okay? Because you're doing a weird voice and I don't know if it's significant.
He just seems really tired.
Okay, cool. Just want to make sure, like, I don't want to blow past this possible clue. Okay, so what Tsetseliya's going to do is she's going to say, I'm going to tell you a story,
Okay.
and I want you to tell me if it makes sense. Okay.
Yes.
It's a story. I'm just making it up.
Is this a story about someone I know?
I mean,
Or is it
Maybe.
hypothetical?
it's a hypothetical. Didn't
Ah.
happen. It's just an
Sturge
idea.
taught me that word, hypothetical.
If it reminds you of something that helps you
Okay.
tell what should come next, it could help me tell a better story.
Yes, that's how stories work. Stong taught me that. That's how stories work.
So once upon a time,
Uh-huh.
night came out of, let's call it the endless wastes. 'Cause
Okay.
We all know that phrase. And who do you think sent him? Was it an archfey, or do you think it was more like a demon lord, or something else?
Well, a knight wouldn't serve a demon lord. That doesn't make a lot of sense.
So you're good at this.
I suppose. I do like stories.
Okay. So he came out of the endless wastes, and he came to the city, and he met. Who should he meet?
A fair maiden, probably.
Okay.
Although she's spicy. She's not honest with her feelings. She's usually mean to people she really likes.
I feel like we're getting a little bit too close here.
Look, I'm not making the rules. Stong told me about stories.
Okay.
Is this maiden a fire snail?
There was a problem. because someone had cursed the night.
That's
I
terrible.
think there are some good options here. The Fair Maiden's mother, who is very wicked, could have done it. The Archfey could have done it. Ooh, we could have an evil vampire lord do it. What sounds like a good story?
None of those really work.
What about
What
An
does
ev-
work?
an Avario?
An Avariel who's got a little too much interest in fire and evil books?
Or,
Should really
or
be. And then, okay,
another
well,
Avario?
I'm gonna have Sarshan make an intelligence check with his mighty 9 intelligence,
Come through.
and I'm
Even
rolling it on,
Rogar.
I'm rolling it on roll 20. So okay,
Oh dear.
he got a
Um,
7. I'm not sure what you're asking. Like, maybe an evil wizard?
Maybe.
An evil wizard like the Fair Maiden's father?
Like the fair means. He makes another check. Yeah, probably.
Hmm.
That would make sense with the story, I think.
Tsetseliya.
Do I have any sense if he's catching on or if he's absolutely lost?
Oh, he is
lost it?
definitely not catching on.
Okay. I think maybe in this case, let's think about things we know. What do you think is a person who would be really dangerous to curse someone for this story? Since we want it to really ring true, do you understand what I mean?
Not really. I'm trying.
I know.
Like, I'm making intelligence checks for him, and he's just
No,
rolling really low.
It's fair. I will take other ideas here, but
No.
right now I feel like the thing is we've got an idea basically of what might be happening, but figuring out, you know, if we can find out what we have to know about right now, and if we can figure out, like, if there's another threat in play, that would be good to know too. But he knew about the Night King, and it sounded like in that last vision we saw the Night King's plans come to fruition. So,
Oh,
If
Sarshan
Vero-
says, I had an idea.
yeah.
What if the Fair Maiden is the one behind it? Wouldn't that be an excellent story twist?
Yeah, that would be good. I think it's not the story I'm trying to figure out right now.
Oh, I'm
So-
sorry.
May I try something?
Yes.
This feather, Sarshan, what would you say it came from? What kind of being?
He looks at it. He looks at you. He looks at Tsetseliya. I couldn't
Would
say.
you say it came from an Avariel? Maybe a more powerful Avariel than our Caleb?
You mean a winged elf?
Yes.
No, definitely not.
Let me try something slightly different and just say the curse on the Brave Knight made it so that every time he died, he had to relive his mistakes to the point where he started trying to die when he made a mistake. Does that story sound familiar, or like maybe it's
He
been
makes
told
an
before?
int check, and his face kind of pales, and he goes,
So this knight has obviously been cursed. So who do you think might have cursed a knight like that? That seems like a pretty powerful spell. I don't think it could be the Fair Maiden's father or her very suspicious friend.
a true knight tries to save everyone he can, even the
this
ones
knight-
who harm him.
This knight needs to be saved.
Okay.
I have an idea for a subplot.
Okay.
The knight is trying to save everybody from something really bad that involves that vampire lord. Because I really think it needs a vampire lord. People,
I agree. Vampires are good to smite.
right?
The Knight of Sorrows taught me that.
There we go. There's
You've
a
all
vampire
taught me
lord
so much, you know.
in this story, and is going to do something really bad. He's going to plunge the city into endless night.
Where the sun never rises.
Right. We might even
Mhm.
say it's a kingdom of night. So, what would be some ways to stop that? We could just kill the vampire lord. We could make the heroes kill the vampire lord, but that seems tricky.
Stop his ritual.
Okay. No, so rituals need pieces. Does the knight know? Do you think the knight knows any of the steps of the ritual?
He probably lucked out on finding one.
What a
Through
lucky man.
error, trial and error.
He does have a lot
Probably
of
suffered a
opportunity.
great deal to find that out.
Ooh, interesting. Wonder
And you don't want to do too many more trials and errors, I would think.
I don't think the knight should do that again. I think it's been played out.
So, curses in this story, are they always in effect everywhere? Or if you went to somewhere else, like another plane, or
Waterdeep.
So Sarshan reaches out and he holds Tsetselia's hand really hard.
Sorry, Waterdeep, well known for curses not working.
He says,
That's why property values are so high. Apologies, go ahead.
yes, we all know that the richer districts have anti-curse magic set up.
It might be.
You got a curse? Just take a bath and you'll be fine. Anyway, which sounds like excellent magic. Brian, I know you're watching. Put that in. Okay. So he looks at you and he says, I don't think he can escape the curse until he's finished
Finished what?
what he swore to do.
And I'm going to push in to see if I can see what that was, because
Yeah, because there's a lot of things you can make a knight swear to do.
Well,
It's great. I told Brian to make a note of it, and he's making a note of it.
Great.
Stong wants to.
Sorry. Okay. Yeah, go ahead.
Oh, go ahead if you have.
I was just going to say, in response to Sturge's question, Sarshan looks at Cecilia and he says to protect the person he loves, no matter what it takes.
That seems like a very open-ended curse.
That's the worst, best kind of curse. The ones that are open-ended.
Okay. And he can't. We don't think we could stop it. But I also really think we might. I think the Fair Maiden would think this was really important, but there's a city to save. So we've got a ritual. One piece of the ritual is gone. How do we make sure? How do we have the heroes make sure this ritual fails? Is there anything? You said that the knight might have stumbled on something in his trial and error.
And he's thinking, and you can see the gears turning in his head with his mighty 9 intelligence.
Can Stirge see the gears turning? Oh,
So, if our friend Sarshan is actually not smart enough to know this, there might be another way.
What is it?
Stirge, you pulled that feather directly from one of the visions that he had. So, once upon a time, I heard that there was this spell called Dream of the Blue Veil. And it is a spell that allows up to 9 of us to travel to a world that is in a vision, especially if we have an object that is directly tied to that vision. Do we wish to go and figure it out directly?
Are you saying you can cast this spell?
I
This is
cannot
wonderful.
cast this spell.
Do we
but
know someone?
perhaps we could find somebody, or purchase a scroll and get Mirren to use it.
Like, fun fact, Stong.
Yes.
I like this.
So there are some caveats with this spell, I've heard. One of them being that it only lasts 6 hours. The other one being that if we took any damage while we were inside, we would just be kicked out. But in the meantime, it allows us to experience the vision directly. So maybe we could see firsthand what you guys have described.
Do we have time? That's my only concern. Like, if we spend 6 hours flitting around in these memories while the Night King moves ahead with his ritual, it sounded like it was time to cast stuff.
If it's important to you, my friend, then it's important to me. But if you feel like this is something that we can wait on, then...
Like I said,
But what we sent with Adrian, wasn't that a part of the ritual? So now the ritual will have to wait until that's replaced, right?
I hope so. I mean, I'm afraid of counting on that.
Let's not ever say it out loud again. Where that chip.
That's really smart, Stirge.
Say what? Sarshan says, seemingly oblivious.
Just, you know
So-
what? He is not there, so Tsetseliya's just like, it's nothing, it's okay.
Okay.
We can't do it immediately. I don't want to leave all of us in Briar House without casting the ritual to defend Briar
So-
House.
Where is Ruan?
And where does he fit into this?
She's gonna
I
make
could
eye
go find
contact
him.
with You do not go anywhere right
Oh,
now.
all right.
She's gonna make eye contact with Rogar because she saw Sarshan like attack Ruan as Jigglewolf.
And wasn't there something he said recently about Ruan that was rather...
He said it to Rogar. We weren't there.
I wouldn't know.
Actually, I take that back. Tsetseliya wasn't there. Stirge could have been. Stirge is always in the shadows, so you might be like,
That's true.
"What?"
No, never mind. Yes, where is Ruan? Is that... I must confess I'm at sea. All I know is I have a golden feather from someone who has made a pact with...
Here's what I think. I'm gonna assume Tsetseliya is smart enough for this because Aaron is pulling together puzzle pieces. I think there's a curse on him, or some kind of a pact, and it means that every time he dies protecting me, he comes back. Or maybe just when he dies, I'm not sure. But so, point one, I don't think you should die again.
I
But
don't
it
want to
looked
die
like-
again,
It looked
Sarshan
like
says.
the big thing is that in one of those times the Night King won.
But... Okay, I'm so sorry, but the golden woman, was she trying to stop Sarshan from stopping the Night King?
I think she's the one that did this.
Yes, but what is her relationship to the Night King? An ally of the Night Kings or an enemy of the Night King? It seems like
Sarshan, can you tell us that? Is the golden woman in the story, is she the vampire lord's friend? Or
I
enemy
mean,
or something?
I don't see why I don't see why two such characters would be friends. That doesn't narratively track, does it, Stong?
Well, if we wish to
Based
find
on-
out...
Based on
firsthand-
things you know, does that seem true?
Based on my life experience, I wouldn't imagine so.
So he was fighting something, and then she showed up and said, "Why are you
I
fighting?"
think she showed up and said, "Hey, I'll make a deal with you and you can try again."
Oh,
I think it's ancillary. I don't think she did this because of the Night King. I think she just saw an opportunity.
Oh, Sarshan says, I couldn't say.
but what would make the best story? Right?
Hmm?
Wink, wink. Nudge.
No, don't make it.
I mean, if Sarshan is a little bit of an
Wolf is behind it
unreliable...
all, everything. All
If he's
right.
a little bit of an
Right.
unreliable narrator, maybe there is another solution than Dream of the Blue Veil, but That's the only one I can think of.
That feels like a solution to this gauge problem.
This
But
is so.
I don't think he
modern.
knows. Get out of his head. It's probably splitting your brain into pieces.
This is
Okay.
like reading a Vonnegut book.
Do
I
any of
understand,
you
yeah.
still have True Sight going?
No.
Okay. Just curious.
So we need to ward Bar House. That'll take an hour, and then we can do this additional spell.
There's also, just to clarify, because I think it got buried, Sarshan implied that he had figured something out about the ritual, but I don't think he ever said what it was. And Tsetseliya's not going to drop that, so. What did the knight find out through trial and error?
Probably a great many things, like don't charge headlong into danger, and
Seems wise.
maybe trust the fair maiden to take care of herself from time
He'd
to time.
absolutely do that. But for the ritual, that was the thing you said, that he had figured something out by trial
Oh.
and error about the Vampire Lord's ritual.
Just the components, I imagine.
What do you think components for that sort of thing might be? I mean, obviously something like a shard of a goblet seems.
Well, I mean, I would suppose that it would depend how powerful the goblet is.
The goblet itself is what the Night King needs, and it needs to be whole. He has the rest of it, does he not?
I mean, that would
No.
make sense from a storytelling perspective.
No,
right, Stan?
no,
Rogar,
no.
Sarshan says.
It was
Fane!
Fane who took it.
I wasn't there. Fane has it!
Fane took the goblet, the only bit
Okay.
that was left after
So then maybe we need to go find Fane.
Oh, you know who Fane serves.
Well, I mean, yeah, but also she doesn't like him.
Okay.
So maybe she seems like she likes you, or maybe she hates you. I'm not following
Makes
a lot of
perfect
it.
sense, you were about to say.
Question, Sarshan says.
Yeah,
Who's this Fane person?
Lilton's daughter.
shape changer.
Oh, he says, like that suddenly explains a lot.
Did Artemisia know that Fane was his daughter? Can't remember.
I don't know.
I don't.
actually a good
I don't
point.
think she did.
I don't think she
Ugh.
did.
She probably goes
all these
like,
cutscenes.
really
She's like,
stale.
what?
It's actually much that I inferred it from the way he was treating her that one time in Mirren's place. And he treated her like a dog. I think it was family. I'm fairly certain.
So
You know,
Fane
the
has
way
a
you
piece?
treat family members like
Well-
dogs, that's how he treated her.
No,
Okay, so Fane has a piece. Anything
Fane
else?
has the chalice. And Shiny has the little chip that I whacked
Right.
off of it that will make it complete. The Night King needs both. You'd think he'd be after the chalice before he'd be after the chip.
Which is why I think maybe we should see if Fane lost it already, or if she's
Yeah.
hidden it,
Lost it.
or sold it.
Yes.
Fair
Fane,
point.
Fane doesn't have wings or feathers, right?
She has
She has
wings,
wings.
doesn't she?
Yes, but they're not feathered wings.
Mhm.
They're leathery bat wings.
So let me make a couple points that I'm grasping at. One, Caliph serves this golden one.
Does seem to be heavily implied, although not confirmed.
That's what he just
He's.
said.
Did he say
she
that?
will. That she will.
That she
Sarshan
will.
says, can we use the term golden raven?
Sure. That's
Perfect.
an interesting phrase.
Golden one sounds too generic, right, Stong?
Hmm. Is this golden raven possibly related to like the Raven Queen?
I couldn't say.
Hmm.
Okay, so figure out this golden raven thing.
All right, so Caliph
He-
serves her. Also, Sorshan does, right? He made a pact with her.
Seems like.
The gray feathers.
Yeah.
Feathers.
Yeah.
Feathers.
And it seems she is against the Night King.
Or she found a convenient target. That seems like something we should figure out. I don't think she likes the Night King, but I don't know that this was about stopping the Night King so much as getting someone to make a pact. You're desperate, and someone comes to you and says, I'll fix it. And you say yes.
And our mother was just tangential?
I think she put the first curse on him.
Oh my lord.
Looking at Sarshan and trying to see if his face changes.
Did the knight have 2 curses from 2 different people?
Well, I would imagine that the knight would break one and then have a new one.
Oh.
Interesting.
Just because, like, if you just have 2 curses, that just seems redundant, right?
Well, if they're from different people and they're sort of pulling him in 2 different directions.
Sarshan, do you know where Ruan is?
When Stong sent to Ruan, did he get a reply back?
Okay, what did you say to
do that.
Ruan and with your sending?
Hey Ruan, this is Stong. Sorry, I'm a little down right now, but so is Rogar. So I think he wants to see you. Please come to Garden.
Okay. Yeah. Your reply is, I'm a little busy right now. Personal business. Tell Rogar I love him, and I will be back as soon as I can.
Rogar, Ruan loves you, but he's busy with business. He seems to be a really industrious guy.
What sort of business would he have?
Whatever it is, it's business in the middle of the night, so it must be he's working overtime.
I'm certain it's not another man.
I don't think so.
Why would you say that?
It
Do you
would,
think it could be another? Wait.
no,
I mean, I thought it.
I just said it
Sergeant says,
couldn't
kind of glancing over the side.
of course not.
His reply did not sound like he was in the middle of, like, anything else. He sounded pretty casual.
Just midnight business.
Look, he's a druid. Druid things sometimes happen in the middle of the night. Stop freaking Rogar out.
I'm not trying. I'm sorry. Druids do that thing in the night. Yes.
Rogar's just very worried.
Wait, Rogar.
Well, I mean, once the Briarhouse ritual is cast, Artemisia can go out in a wolf and track him if you want.
Ooh, good idea.
What don't if
Because
Rogar's
we
very
don't want
tempted.
Sarshan going out alone, but
'Cause-
Artemisia could go out.
I feel like if he wanted us to know where he was, he would tell us. But then
Good.
Sarshan's under a curse,
Yes.
and he says that Ruan's dangerous. So maybe Ruan's.
Dangerous.
Oh,
curse too. Is it possible?
or maybe
Okay.
that
Rogar, I'm going to tell you the truth. One of those visions, Sarshan attacked Ruan.
okay.
So
So that actually happened.
I couldn't say,
No,
Sergeant
don't
says.
know.
it was before
Oh.
when he was still Jiggle Wolf.
Why would he? Oh, so he attacked him while he was still a wolf. Before he did well, they knew each other before.
They did, and we didn't. It was I don't really understand the way that this works, but it seems like Sarshan is going back sometimes, and one of those times he went back before we knew him.
So he must have
And-
thought that Ruin was going to do something bad. If he, maybe we should check on
Well-
Ruin, but
But where's
I don't know what he's. I don't want to I don't want to involve anyone else. If I'm wondering if there's a way that like Stone, can you give me some sort of enhanced sense or something where I can like track him? So
Yeah, I can turn you into a wolf too, and you can go with Artemisia.
or I could just go.
You shouldn't go to talk to him alone. I was just telling Tsetseliya
Okay.
she shouldn't have to face this sort of thing with her lover alone.
I understand. So out of game, I'm not going to be here next week.
Oh, here we go. Here's a reason.
So this would be a good reason for me to be absent going after Ruin, but then if I drag you along, doesn't work, kind of a thing. I was just thinking.
Well,
Like,
we can figure that out.
We can
Okay.
As time
respect-
goes on, too.
we can
So-
decide to respect your privacy.
And it is 9:30, so
But wait, an important question. What does your wolf look like? What do you want to be turned into?
oh, I feel like I mean, if you'd have told me,
It
you know,
should be
you know
like
what?
one of those corgis crossed with like a husky.
I was thinking or like a little Scottish Terrier, but he's put on he's very like a barrel-y kind of little Scottish Terrier, or but what I really want to be is one of those cute shaggy little wee cows. Have you seen those? The little Scottish
Highland
cows, the little teeny ones that are like the
Highland cow.
little.
Well, do they
Oh,
have
they're
good tracking? Like
I
wolves?
didn't know, but they're so cute. Seriously, just Google them. They're so cute.
Oh my god.
But anyway,
You could be like a little basset hound.
Yeah.
That
You could be
tracks
that.
video.
You could be
So-
a cow later. I could always polymorph you do that.
So there's
Just for
there's this conversation going on about what animal you're going to turn Rogar into to go and find Ruin. And Sarshan just kind of reaches over and takes Tsetseliya's hand, and he looks over at her and he says, I'm sorry I couldn't help more, but I think you're doing the right thing. I thank you.
We're gonna get through this. We know now, so you're not alone.
His eyes start welling, and he says, I can't explain how much that helps.
If no one's staring at them, she'll kiss him.
Artemisia knows when to.
Quick, look at Stirge.
Stirge is making intense eye contact, which actually has the opposite effect because now she's like, F you, Stirge.
George is just
Now
like,
there's talk.
PDA. All right. And maybe we should leave it at that. Oh my god. Oh my god, Steven.
That's Rogar.
Well,
I love it.
That's
All
what you
right.
want
There's ones
to.
that have the little ball ones with the little horns. Oh,
Wait, that's what you want to be tonight when you go after Ruin?
So
not
So-
necessarily.
on that note, that's all the time we
Someone
have
can
for
find
tonight.
out how well a Highland cow can track.
That's
We'll
true.
make this happen. If their
Tracking
sense of
cow.
smell is good, and they just need to have, dwarven intelligence added
I drank
for
all
what
my
it
bourbon.
what it's worth. We'll do
Yeah,
it.
look at that nose.
Oh
Seems
my
like a good
God.
tracking
Right.
nose.
That's all the time we have for tonight. I have been Eric Scott to be the DM of this campaign. Take it away, Aaron.
I am Erin M. Evans. Normally, you can catch me on Mondays at 11 on twitch.tv/CNE Games, but we will be off on this Monday because people were busy. But you can check out our sponsors, Idle Champions of the Forgotten Realms, at idlechampions.com.
I've been Rhiannon Held. Thank you tonight to our moderators, Myrdug, Seldering, and Shay. And as you heard in the interview, we have books. You should check them out. Places to check them out are on the Amazon widget on our Twitch page, and then on dungeonscrawlers.com. There's a little bit about all our different works, so check those out.
Hi, I'm Yang Yang Wang. Once again this week, our charity that we are highlighting is the Ballard Food Bank over here in beautiful Seattle, Washington, USA. Unfortunately, Stefan isn't here to talk about the Ballard Food Bank, but it is much more than a food bank. It is a community center that supports the greater Ballard area, and it helps families not only get food that they need, but also places them in shelters and helps them find employment. Check them out and consider supporting their mission if you can afford to. Thank you.
I've been Stephan Molino. You can also find our past videos on our YouTube channel linked on our Twitch page below. Be sure to click subscribe to support us and the bell to get notified as we add new content.
And I've been Rennie Henderson. And jump over onto
Happy
our
birthday.
Discord.
Forgot that part.
Happy
Yeah.
birthday.
Happy birthday,
Hey,
Randy.
thank you. And 1,000 subscribers on my birthday. Or followers. I mean, on our-
Followers. I wish
Followers.
subscribers.
Yeah, well, boy, yeah. We're getting there. We'll
Subscribe
get
to
there.
Randy's birthday.
I
Yeah,
believe
that's right.
Randy is going to be out of town next week too.
Yep.
So
With
Yeah.
his wife in a
Having
romantic
birthday fun.
remote retreat.
taking an excellent birthday trip.
Thanks. So hop over our Discord. We got a great community going over there. We talk about the stream, but we talk about gaming, writing, books, hobbies, cosplay, everything. So just come over and hang out with us over there, and then check out our website where you can find the profiles on the players, the characters, NPCs, recaps of all our past episodes and everything else. Yes, until next time, stay scrawly.